Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Open. It is Friday, September 19th, and we are live. I am sorry I'm a little late, but we are here. And, well, we got a lot to talk about. It has been a quite wild week, definitely a wild 24 hours. We have a bunch of headlines that have happened since yesterday's Market Open that we will discuss and go into. But this week in general, I think is one of those weeks that's portfolio all-time highs for a lot of people. Year-to-date percentages have changed for a lot of people. Obviously, we got the rate cut, which is one of the most important things, and that really kind of got everyone to, or at least got the market to be a bit more excited, which got everyone's portfolios to be a bit more excited. And we're seeing that right now in the pre-markets. Robinhood, 121.46, Palantir, 176, Tessie, 421, Nvidia, 176. All of these companies had various different headlines throughout the week. Nvidia in particular, that was perceived as bearish, right? With China, antitrust, monopoly, all these different things. Basically back to where it was before those headlines, if not higher, simply because of the rate cut and the massive tailwind that the rate cut has provided. SoFi above 28, broke 28.50. Now kind of potentially normalizing at the $28 range. AMD was at 149 yesterday, now 157. Market, again, just kind of doesn't care that much about Intel and Nvidia coming together. S&P basically at all-time highs. You got Grab that closed at 640 yesterday. Right now it's 637. Fourth day in a row of 100 million shares of volume. Reddit at 269, Amazon 232, Meta 783. I mean, the main thing I care about today is can we close the day as well as we started the week, or as well as we've got through the week. And if we could, that would be very, very exciting. Now, the other thing that's important today, and I'm not muted, there's no way I'm falling for that again. The other thing that's almost fell for that, but I'm not falling for that. The other thing that's really important is today's Quadwitching day. So today's another really important day because we are going to have the simultaneous expiration of single stock options, ETF options, index options. This only happens 4 times a year. September 19th is one of those days. So we might have a bunch of different things that are going to be happening throughout the day in regards to the expiration of options. And I mean, like, simple example, right? If you've got a lot of people holding in the money calls on SoFi, for example, at like, I don't know, 25 expiring this week, and they all decide to exercise those calls, a lot of market makers that might not have all those shares available to deliver to the people that are exercising their call contracts, because instead of just selling the call contract, you can exercise it, which means you actually want to buy those 100 shares at $25. The market makers might have to buy those shares at 28, causing a bit of a squeeze on SoFi to deliver those shares to someone who's exercising them at 25. And that could be happening across the entire board for a variety of different stocks, which obviously can make things a bit wonky. It could also go to the opposite side on, you know, the people that are short and that still need to deliver their shares or need to get their shares delivered. So there's a bunch of different things we have to watch out for today. Not to mention Trump and Xi have officially started their phone call, and I believe the phone call started 46 minutes ago at around 8:05. Chinese state media said that Trump and Xi were on the phone, and so we should be getting updates from that pretty soon as well in terms of how that call is going, and if that call is, like, you know, going to result in anything else that we've got going on. So we are going to see kind of how this one ends up playing out, and then we will keep going from there. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you, everybody, for being here. If it was freezing a little bit, just refresh your YouTube. Honestly, guys, it's not been me this week. I know there's been some issues with the stream. It really hasn't been me. Like, on Monday, it was definitely a YouTube problem, and a lot of people said they had to refresh their entire YouTube app for it to work. So, like, it wasn't me having to refresh the stream. So I don't know. StreamYard's being a little dumb this week. The mic thing was definitely stupid yesterday. The mic never just blows out. Like, it'll sound a little weird. Maybe it'll sound like I'm in a fishbowl, but it doesn't blow out the way it did yesterday and cause me to look stupid talking for 2 minutes and 45 seconds with no microphone. But hopefully it's not too bad. Believe me, it wasn't an hour of muting. It was 2 minutes and 45 seconds, which hopefully wasn't too bad. All right, cool. So let's get into it. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to Eddie and Brittany. They came over yesterday and got to see the new apartment, and we went out to dinner. These two, for those that don't know, are OG Hood investors, and I saw that they were in New York City, so I told them to come by. And just super awesome people. It was really nice getting to see them yesterday. They've been investing in Hood and Bitcoin like for the early days. And yeah, I think one of the cool things about these communities is there they are right there. by Exchange Place. Just recently got married about a year ago, so it was so nice to get to see them. And you know, when we were talking about Hood at like $8-10, there was not that many people there. And there they are. Shout out to them in the chat. There's Brittany and there's Eddie. There weren't that many people there. So, you know, because there weren't that many people there, it was really nice to just connect with the OGs who were there in person and officially get to kind of just talk and decompress about the entire journey, right? And I think with the Pound Trick community, we've done a really good job of like keeping that in-person effect to make sure that there is a community that stays alive. But with Hood, we haven't had too many events like that. And so definitely wanted to reach out to them, and I'm happy that they came out. I also, you know, I didn't tell you guys because I felt like I probably should keep this a secret. Some of you guys already saw this, but like now that they posted publicly, I guess the cat's out of the bag. But yeah, I did buy a yacht. Okay, it is what it is, and I took them on the yacht yesterday just to show them. But like, I don't know, things are changing in life, and sometimes you got to splurge. Sometimes you got to splurge.
Yo, Ahmed, thank you for bringing us on your private yacht, bro. This is just insane. I cannot believe it. Bro. Yo, this is insane. Yo, crazy vibes. Immaculate vibes in New Jersey.
Sometimes sometimes you got to splurge a little bit. Sometimes you got to splurge a bit. So, you know, I got them a nice little trip on the yacht, and it was after dinner. It was a nice little yacht ride. This is another video that Brittany posted.
Okay, with the legendary
shout out to Eddie and Brittany, OG retail investors, Robinhood investors, Bitcoin investors. Get to meet in person. I love these guys so much.
We love you.
Shout out to King of Retail.
So that was really cool. It was a fun night. But what was even cooler, dude, it was like 12 a.m. and our boy Vlad commented. I think Vlad knows Brittany and Eddie pretty well because they make a ton of content on Hood. And he was like, looks like good vibes. And I was like, hey man, thanks for working so hard and building a company that ended up being the reason for why we all connected. So yeah, Vlad got to see some of the videos. And then he commented on the other video as well with the yacht emoji. I wonder if my yacht's bigger than Vlad's yacht. I know he's like a multi-billionaire or something, but I think my yacht's pretty decent. So there's Mr. Vlad's comments. So there it is, guys. Sometimes you just gotta splurge in life. It's been a good year. You gotta take chances and just be like, you know what? I want to enjoy the fruits of my labor, and it is what it is. So if anyone's ever in New York, just let me know, and you'll get an invite on the yacht as well. And we'll go from there. Okay, obviously it's not my yacht, okay? Everyone's asking, is this real? No, it's not real, dude. It's not Derek's yacht either. I don't even know if Derek has a yacht. No, it's just a ferry. There's a ferry from Jersey City to New York City, and I took them on the ferry. It cost like $7 to get on the ferry. So yes, it's obviously not my yacht. You think I can afford a freaking yacht, bro? Even if I could, I wouldn't buy a yacht. What do I do with a yacht? Like, just like no, I would never do that. But it was fun. It was fun. So shout out to Eddie and Brittany again. I really do believe in like these in-person connections. It's part of the reason why I've done the meetups this whole year, and I want to do a lot more next year. It's like just materializing the human face-to-face connection, getting to hear their stories and their background, and you know they're from Los Angeles, and just how they think of the world and what it means to like invest in Hood and Bitcoin, and how they've been on an investing journey for so long. Like these are special stories. Shout out to Brittany's mom, Pam. She's watching as well. She was Brittany and Ed also met Michael Saylor at this like New York Bitcoin conference. And Pam was like, oh, that's cool. And they're like, oh, we're going to meet Amit as well. She's like, Amit? That's like, you know, because she watches the show. So shout out to Pam. You've raised a lovely daughter. And Eddie and Brittany, I think they're meant for each other. I genuinely think they're meant for each other. So I'm so happy they've been together for so long. And I'm very happy they're on their investing journey together as well. I'm going to link their Twitters right here in the chat if you guys want to follow them. They also both make content. And there's Eddie right there. And then I'll link Brittany as well. But it's really cool, dude, to see a couple that like actually invests and goes to these events together and like really cares about this stuff. You know, you don't find couples that often that like actively care about investing and, you know, do it in a way that allows them to eventually be financially free, which is what they've both been able to achieve. You know, Eddie quit his job last year and they've just been focusing on investing. So incredible stuff. Again, thank you to Eddie and Brittany for coming out, and hopefully we'll get to do a lot more of these meetups in the future, and we'll keep going from there. How many people can fit on your yacht? You know, the cool thing is it was like 10:30 at night, so no one took the ferry. So it literally felt like it was a private yacht because we just had the whole thing to ourselves. It's like, all right, guys, it's my yacht. Like this is what you for $7, you get a nice little 20-minute ride on my yacht, which is not too bad. So there you go. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you, Eddie. Means the world. So happy to keep these communities alive together in person, and hopefully we will do it a lot more for a ton more people as they come to New York City, and hopefully we can do more meetups across the entire world. All right, so let's get started into some of the core headlines that we have. First of all, I think we'll get started with this. The S&P 500 rallied to an all-time high yesterday. The White House tweeted this picture. S&P 500 rallies to a new high. Their caption was, "Don't be a panican." So obviously the White House is loving the fact that we are at all-time highs and the market is roaring. I am very curious to see what people are thinking based on this all-time high. I'm going to do a poll right here on the chat on if you think we get green or red today. But look, I've seen a lot of commentary over the past 24 hours of people thinking this is the top. This is the top. Stock market today, green or red. And the reason for that is not even because there's a top signal. I mean, this picture right here kind of is a little bit of a toppy signal. But not only this picture, the next picture that Trump tweeted is even better. This was Trump on Truth Social yesterday, posting an AI image of him in the Oval Office with 3 screens. One of the screens says you bought Intel at 20. The other screen is the Intel chart. And the other screen is Intel now 30. I mean, shout out to the Trump administration social media team, because that's just like, I saw this last, I didn't even know what to say when I saw this, but this is a little bit more toppy than the S&P 500 rallies to a new high picture. But the reason I'm seeing people say it's a top is not because of like anything sort of fundamental. It's because people think it's too good. People think it's going a little too good. And I can understand why people think that, because obviously we got the rate cut. Not everyone, but as Tom Lee said yesterday, a majority of people did feel there was going to be a sell-off because the rate cut was already baked in. And we have the exact opposite. Now, we'll see what happens today when the market opens, but we truly did have the exact opposite. Everything that was supposed to rally, crypto, small caps, financials, it rallied. Tech was able to rally. Didn't rally as much as some of the other names, but they were able to continue to expand their multiple, even though they've had such a good year already. And so from that perspective, a lot of people are thinking, all right, well, this is it, right? And it's like, what if this is not it? What if this is still the most hated V-shaped rally? What if we've got more rate cuts coming, which we know we do? What if Q3 earnings are about to blow everyone away? And what if this actually does go to 6,800, 7,000 by the end of the year? And then next year, we'll figure out whatever we got to figure out. But yeah, from a euphoria perspective, I still, again, there's the same stat I've been saying all week, but S&P is trading at 28 times. At the peak of the dot-com bubble, it was at 60 times. We are not anywhere near those multiples. And the most important companies in the world, like Nvidia, Google, Meta, they're still trading at 25 to 35 times. Those are just not egregious multiples. So, and we're starting to see a little bit of diversification. Some of the other companies catch up with what's been going on. So from that perspective, I think it's one of those things where if you want to hedge, of course, you should be able to hedge, and you should be able to buy some puts, sell some calls, take some profits, and just like get ready for a potential October pullback that maybe is the culmination of the August and September pullback that was supposed to happen but never happened. But if we don't get that October pullback and we have really good Q3 earnings and we rally into November, and then December, by the end of the year, no one really wants to sell anything because we're good to go and like the markets want to end positively, then this could be one of those buy into strength and hold and end out the year without having to worry too much about getting out of it before the end of the year. Because you also have to ask yourself what macro event could happen from now until the end of the year to really mess things up. I don't think it's going to be trade deal stuff. I don't think it's going to be tariff stuff. I don't think it's going to be interest rates. It would have to be the labor market. And if we're able to at least keep the labor market somewhat subdued and inflation tame, then we might be okay. So we got to see how it plays out. But as of now, even if I'm taking rides to people on my private yacht, I don't think we are at the top. But this picture is freaking toppy, bro. Like, goodness gracious. Bought Intel 20, Intel now 30. There you go. I mean, Trump's having fun with it. And again, my take on this is we have never had a 30% drop in the S&P 500 back to 2022 levels in the middle of one of the largest bull markets ever that lasted for a week with a direct buy signal from the president himself. But we did this year. And now we are where we are. Another reason we're likely going to continue the momentum is based on AI CapEx. Here's a new interview of Zuckerberg talking about the amount of money they have pledged to spend throughout 2028. And what he says, I think, will be quite surprising, but at the same time, not as surprising.
Huge amount of money.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, didn't you just tell Trump you were going to spend like $600 billion? I mean, that's
I did. Yeah, through 2028, which is
a lot of money.
It is. And if we end up misspending a couple of $100 billion, I think that is going to be very unfortunate, obviously. But what I'd say is I actually think the risk is higher on the other side.
If we misspend a couple $100 billion, well, that would be unfortunate. Like, not the best thing in the world, but we'd rather spend than not. I mean, can you guys believe what we're hearing? If we misspend, not like $20, not $30, not 20 million, not 40, a couple $100 billion, that's okay, because our investors would rather us be aggressive than be conservative to the tune of a couple $100 billion. I mean, when I heard this last night, I'm just like, oh, it's game on. It's game on. You think Zucks is going to stop spending? You think Sundar is going to stop spending? No, this is going to continue. And as long as they get an ROI, which hopefully they do, that is going to only bolster the argument for AI. But the CapEx spend, that's not slowing down.
If you build too slowly, and then super intelligence is possible in 3 years, but you built it out assuming it would be there in 5 years, then you're just out of position on what I think is going to be the most important technology that enables the most new products and innovation and value creation in history. So, so I don't know. I mean, it's I don't want to be kind of cavalier about it. I mean, obviously these are very large amounts of money and we're trying to get it right. But I think the risk, at least for a company like Meta, is probably in not being aggressive enough rather than being somewhat too aggressive. But part of that is like, we're not at risk of going out of business or something like that, right? If you're one of these, companies that like an OpenAI or an Anthropic or something like that, where, they're raising money as the way that they're funding their build out. And, there's obviously this open question of to what extent are they going to be able to keep on raising money? And that's dependent both to some degree on their performance and how AI does, but also all these macroeconomic factors that are out of their control. I mean, the market could get bearish for reasons that have nothing to do with AI. Maybe something bad happens internationally, and then it could just be impossible to fulfill the kind of the compute funding, like the compute obligations. So I think that's it might be a different situation if you're in one of their shoes, but
basically Zuck saying, hey, if you're a foundation LLM company that can't make any money, which right now, quite frankly, none of them can make any money, you're not going to be able to spend the types of money that we can spend. But because we have a business model that's like printing free cash flow to the tune of $100 billion a year, then we can't be that afraid of spending this money, because if we don't spend this money and we get left behind, we're not going to be able to win. So for anyone worrying that CapEx spend is going to go down, like, I mean, Zucks is literally saying, hey, if there's a massive recession, OpenAI is not going to be able to spend CapEx. We are going to keep spending. And now, granted, if we do have a recession and like Meta stocks falls by 50%, I don't know if they're going to keep spending that much. But the point is, he's very, very secure in the idea that we need to keep spending, and we need to keep spending to find superintelligence. And if they continue to do that, then it likely means Nvidia, AMD, ASML, all these other companies are obviously going to benefit as well. Patty O'Brien, thank you for becoming a channel member. Appreciate it. And Quantess, thank you for the gifted 5 memberships. 5 of you guys just got a gifted membership from Tess. Again, Tess, she has been on this channel for the past couple of years now, and one of her big bets outside of Palantir, she's had a couple of them, but one of the main ones has been D-Wave, and that one has absolutely taken off again. It hit $24 this week, right now at 23. She's buying this shit below $1, so congratulations to her. 23x on this name. And I think a bunch of you guys are in this one as well. I don't think it's the majority of you, but decent chunk are in this one. Quantum has had a pretty awesome week. So there you go, D-Wave right there, up 3.86%. Hoodie 121, Palantir 176, Tesla 420.96, 421 now. Let's talk about what happened last night with Tesla. So this was pretty big news. I am in a humanoid robot group chat with a couple of other people that are deep into humanoid robots, and they were pretty surprised, to say the least, about this news, because I didn't expect to see this. The head of Tesla's Optimus AI team has left. It's been an incredible ride leading to the Optimus AI team. We went all in on scalable methods, swapping the classical stack with reinforcement learning and scaling dexterity by learning from videos. AI is the most significant bit to unlock humanoids. So he left. He's gone. It's like, okay, cool. I guess he's moving on with his life. Maybe he's going to go do something else. Well, where did he go? Right? That's the question. Where did he go? He went to Meta. He is now a research scientist at Meta. Someone said, why are you giving up working on the single most important product of the world, and why are you giving up so soon? What could be more important? And he said the financial upside of Tesla was actually larger. Tesla is known to compensate pretty well way before Zuck's made it cool. If I wanted to optimize for money, I would have stayed at Tesla. I don't know how to interpret this. I'm curious what people think. I mean, like, obviously this feels bearish. The head of AI at Optimus for Tesla leaving for Meta. It also makes me wonder, is Meta actually spending $600 billion because they want to make their advertising better, because they want to make an open source LM, or is Meta getting ready to get into the humanoid robotics race? I mean, why else would you get the lead AI Optimus researcher at Tesla to come to Meta? I'm sure he's useful in a variety of other research subjects for AI, but it seems like for humanoids, that's what he's dedicated the past 10 years to. And that might be what Meta is thinking of, more physical AI in a more strategic way, outside of just like glasses, which is one of the big things that they introduced. Chris Camillo said that the talent war is beginning for robotics now. Yes, I think Camillo is right about this. Camillo is actually in that group chat, and I think I was the one to break the news to them, because I saw the tweet immediately, and they were just like, "What? Really?" Like, now maybe the guy was fired, and this is the nice way to say that he's leaving. I mean, that kind of flips the narrative, because maybe he sucked and Elon was like, we need someone else, and that totally changed the dynamic. But if he decided to leave on his own, the question is why. Could it be political, meaning he got annoyed by Elon's politics? I mean, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, maybe, but Elon hasn't been that political over the past. I mean, wouldn't he have left like 5 months ago when Elon was at the height of the politics stuff, right? I don't know. It's weird. It's very weird. Either Musk booted him or either he decided to leave. I think we'll get more details soon. But the fact that he went to Meta out of all places, I mean, he didn't go to like Figure, which is a humanoid competitor, or Aptronic, Google, which is working on their own humanoids. He went to Meta, and we have no real evidence that Meta's working on humanoids, which, who knows? Maybe this means that Meta is going to begin to work on them. But it definitely was weird. Definitely was weird to see that. So I don't think that's bearish Tesla. I just think that's like something we have to think about in regards to Tesla's humanoid ambitions. Again, I still think Tesla has the best chance to succeed because of the manufacturing capabilities. But as we're seeing from a lot of different people, AI is really the thing that matters to get these humanoids to scale. That's what Brett has been talking about all week in terms of the data sets that are needed to actually differentiate models from each other. And it looks like over the next 10 years, that's going to be one of the most important elements to scaling robots. Last thing right here on Meta, JP Morgan came out with a note today. They have a price target of 875. However, the most important thing in this note, which I actually forgot to talk about a couple of days ago because we were looking at the failed demos at the Meta event, is that, and you might not know this if you didn't watch the entire Meta event, Zucks is still hung up on the metaverse. The last thing they showed was you entering into a concert with a bunch of your friends on the Quest headset in the metaverse. And it was about 5 to 7 minutes they spent on that. But Steve, Tanner, and I, after the event, were talking about how we forgot the metaverse existed, but like it's a thing. And they showed it off at that glasses event. And we were all three perplexed about why Zucks cares so much about it. So JP Morgan came out today and said, hey, we're bullish Meta, but we expect them to lose $22.1 billion in 2026 off Reality Labs. Reality Labs is basically their metaverse ambitions. And so it's like, okay, not only is Zucks ready to lose hundreds of billions of dollars potentially on CapEx, if it doesn't work for anything, he's kind of nonchalant about it. He doesn't care. But also he's like ready to lose another 25 billion on Reality Labs if no one's using the metaverse. And again, I asked the question, who's going to actually chill out with their friends in the metaverse? The only people I can see doing that are kids. And the problem with that is Roblox already has most of those kids in their system. And number two is like the whole point of the metaverse was to show ads in the metaverse. I mean, I remember Zucks talking about this back in 2021. Like kids are not going to see ads and then buy products, right? You need the demographics of like at least 35 to 55 to be in that new immersive ecosystem. And I just don't think that many people care about being in the metaverse, which means there's not that much of a business model there. Unless they go after gaming, and gaming's a great vertical, but gaming is not like a 5 billion person vertical either. So I don't know. I don't think the metaverse is relevant. I don't know why he's still trying to go after it. It still looks like it's like pixelated people. It's weird, dude. It doesn't like make that much sense to me, but we're going to see how that ends up playing out. Okay, the video froze for a second, but you guys can see my audio. Tell you, bro, it's not me, dude. This is StreamYard. This is weirdly StreamYard. We're going to wait till it unfreezes for a second. Yeah, you guys can hear me though, but it did freeze. Can someone build a StreamYard competitor? Can we actually like compete against these guys? Because this is getting a bit ridiculous. We can see your audio. No, I meant to say hear your. It's the Wi-Fi. It's the Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's me about to sneeze. Oh, we got a headline right here. OpenAI has struck an agreement with Luxshare, an iPhone assembler, to produce a future OpenAI device. Oh boy, that is a pretty big headline. Let's see if I can pull that up. And let me show it in a second. See, I was talking about Zucks. I was talking about he's going to lose money, and now they got me on my Wi-Fi. Goodness gracious, bro. Yeah, OpenAI is making glasses and a voice recorder. This is from The Information. OpenAI struck an agreement with Luxshare, an iPhone assembler, to produce a future OpenAI device. I thought they were working with Johnny Ive on this already, but I guess they're striking deals with other people, and they're working from there. Okay, I think it should come back. Give it a second. It should be coming back. Yeah, there you go. Okay, now we should be back. Let's see. Yeah, are we? No, you guys can see the Twitter, but I'm still frozen, dude. See, this was it. It's not a Wi-Fi thing, guys. I'm telling you, it's not a Wi-Fi thing. Like, there's no Wi-Fi signals on my thing that are showing that it's weak. This is StreamYard. And it's a bit ridiculous that this is StreamYard, but it is StreamYard. Like, you can see the Twitter, right? That's my point. It's not. What if I change the camera? Does that change it? Was that a camera thing? I think that was a camera thing. Oh, shit. That was a camera thing. Okay, so it was me. Never mind. I'm sorry, bro. I'm an amateur. I am an amateur. Okay, so what if I move back to the other camera? Then it goes back to normal? Then it goes back to, oh, so all we have to do is a refresh. See, I'm Indian. I should know the IT is, all you have to do is like just a refresh that like fixes 95% of things, but it is what it is. This is what happens when Indians become creative and move away from their roots of IT, bro. All you have to do is refresh and it would be fixed. All right, we got Kashkari, who's on CNBC. Let's see what he has to say about the Fed rate cut and the future of rate cuts over the coming months.
Function has changed and that we would somehow be okay with 3% inflation. We're not okay with 3% inflation. I'm confident that we are going to get inflation back down to 2%, but these tariffs have pushed inflation back up, and we're having to adjust policy to try to accommodate and keep the labor markets strong at the same time.
So, Neil, the old saw is watch what they do, not what they say. What are you doing about bringing inflation back down?
Well, if we look at the underlying components, and I don't get into this as much in my essay, housing services inflation is on a very steady trajectory to come down. I've got a lot of confidence that housing inflation is going to continue to come down. Non-housing services inflation is slowly coming down. It's pretty tied to wage growth, and wages are on a downward trajectory. So I've got pretty good confidence that those two segments are going to continue to come down. The core goods inflation had actually ticked negative at the start of this year. That was very good news. It had been negative before the pandemic. They've now come up because of tariffs. And so it really comes down to, do you believe tariffs are a one-time effect or something more persistent? I'm getting more confident that it's more likely a one-time effect, but it's going to take a couple of years for it to play out.
Another thing you talked about in your.
All right, so nothing too crazy from Kashkari. His main argument is just, hey, we can get inflation back down to 2%, but he also thinks that inflation is likely not going to be the biggest reason for why we don't get rate cuts. Now, what we were talking about right before Kashkari right here is OpenAI potentially working on glasses and a voice recorder. OpenAI has struck an agreement with Luxshare, an iPhone assembler, to produce a future OpenAI device. So This argument has been coming out for a while. I'm actually going to do a poll right here in the chat and see what some people think about this. I am very not optimistic about OpenAI meaningfully competing in the physical hardware place. 67% of you guys said that we're likely end green on the day. Can OpenAI make a strong product, strong physical product? I don't know, bro, because like what is it going to actually be? And how do we imagine the product looks like? Because if it's glasses, that's just meta. And if it's not glasses, then what is it? What do we think it is? All right, there's the poll right there in the chat. The information reporting, Luxshare, I've heard of that company before as well. They've worked with the iPhone many times, making the world a better place by embracing. This is a Chinese electronics components manufacturer. So this is a Chinese company that OpenAI is working with. Something like Alexa. Yeah, but dude, Alexa's kind of played out, right? That whole thing that stays in your home and like that's like not a, it's not that exciting anymore, right? I know a lot of, I don't use it every day. I know plenty of people do use it, but there's been various things, various theories float around of like this thing you put on your neck or this bracelet or something like you talk to all the time. I don't know if that's the real way that people want to engage with the world. Like especially the glasses that Meta showed off. I mean, most people in the chat that were watching the Meta Connect event no one really felt the use case was so dramatic that it was going to be very, very exciting. In terms of like a reason to buy it. There always needs to be a use case to get excited to buy it. And I don't think any of us saw that use case. And when they were asked about this in another interview that I saw, the messaging was the main use case that they talked about. And I don't know if messaging is the most exciting use case for glasses. Like it's just like on your phone, you can probably message as well in a much easier way. So in a couple of years, they'll be exciting. I think they've got to come up with a killer use case. Until then, it's not that exciting. Brittany says, no trust in OpenAI. Glasses are just another opportunity to data harvest, like the world coin for biometric harvesting. I mean, that's another thing. The glasses, obviously, like, and again, when I bring this up to Steve, he thinks it's a nothing burger. But when Steve's like, oh, if you sit down with someone, you can scan their digital life and then you can start talking to them about their personal life because the glasses immediately looks at their face and uses facial recognition to scan everything they've done. Like, bro, that's creepy. I'm sorry, but that's creepy. It's weird. 54% of you are a bit more bearish on an OpenAI physical product. And so we're going to have to see if OpenAI can really meaningfully compete with this. I also think, look, Gemini beat ChatGPT last week on the App Store rankings. If Gemini continues to win and ChatGPT is relevant, but it's not as relevant as it was when it had the first mover advantage and no one was competing with them, what is OpenAI's moat? In the enterprise, they're not going to be that meaningful. In the government, they're not going to be that meaningful. Everyone's, I mean, the cost to pay 20 or 30 bucks a month, eventually that's going to come down dramatically as the models get better and better, and Google's just going to start giving it away for free to get more users. And then you have to ask yourself, okay, so where do they really make money on? I guess it's the physical products or some resemblance of a robot or a glasses or a voice recorder or something like that. And then they have to compete with Apple and Meta. And I don't know if it's going to be easy for them to compete with them. Yeah, Apple can make the glasses and Gemini could power it, which also begs the question, where's OpenAI going to get the distribution from? One of the first things about the glasses, they're going to tell you your political affiliation and it will rip society apart. I mean, it could do that. It can tell you a lot of things about someone that's just creepy. Like, what if there's things you just don't want people to know? And then the glasses immediately index that. So like, that's so Black Mirror to me that it's like ridiculous to even imagine it. But nonetheless, if that does happen, then that is going to be a new world that we're living in. Speaking of physical products, here is Apple CEO Tim Cook in New York City today, showing off that the new iPhone is officially live.
It's the most pro phone we've ever shipped. It's a totally new design, incredible performance, camera next level. I mean, if you think you've gotten good photos and videos off your iPhone before, this takes it to a new level. The air, thin, light, feels like it's going to fly away in your hand. It's so wonderful. The design is unbelievable. You literally cannot feel it. It's so light, but it's a pro phone. This is what's so spectacular about it. It's pro performance in a thin package. And then the consumer product, unbelievable as well. dramatic step up from last year.
Okay, now people tell me the reviews over and over again, there's always this caveat that they're expensive. And yet I see the trade-in value to be far higher than I remember. Is trade-in better? And when you add in the incentives from the phone companies, I don't see any increase even from tariffs.
Trade-in is great. There's no increase for tariffs in the prices, to be totally clear. And you can get a phone for free today with a plan from your favorite carrier.
Now, right here, do you have supply? Some in Europe, they didn't have supply for everything.
We keep supply in the store for walk-in customers and to serve the pre-orders. So there's supply today to get.
Okay, got some numbers from Nanjing, from Mumbai,
Yeah.
Beijing, Delhi. Dubai is the one.
Is anyone buying the iPhone? Put in the chat. Is anyone buying the iPhone 17? Again, I would be buying it if I didn't buy the 16 like a month ago. But Gene Munster is pretty bullish on it. All the Barclays and Oppenheimer and JP Morgan reports that I read are pretty bullish on it. I think Apple got upgraded to 280 today from one of these firms as well. They are pretty bullish that the super cycle is happening. And if it does, then Apple's going to participate in this bull run. And we kind of need that to happen in order to help the broader S&P. Julia, thanks for the $10 super chat. Thanks for showing up every morning with your love and energy. You have helped me make so much money. I'm truly grateful, Myth. Thank you. Julia, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. I know we are closing in on that 100,000 subscriber milestone. So, yeah, we'll ring the bell whenever we get there as well. Julia, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Mike, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for being here all week. I'm back on track after a near fatal car crash. Collarbone, knee, 10 ribs. Grateful for what you've done for my family. 2 major accounts up 138 and 111% this year. Life-changing. Mike, I'm happy you're with us, man. I'm really happy you're with us. That is very, very tough to hear, especially collarbone, knee, and 10 ribs. Goodness gracious. Yeah, thank you for being here, dude. I'm happy you're here. Congrats on the accounts being up triple digits year to date. And yeah, thanks for being part of the show, even with the stuff you're dealing with right now in your personal life. Hopefully the show is a little bit of escapism to deal with some of the pain, because I can imagine it's going to take a little while to recover. So thank you, Mike, for being here. Appreciate you. And deeply, deeply grateful that you are here and part of the show. I see a bunch of you guys saying that you are waiting for it. A lot of you guys already said you ordered it and it's coming in a few hours. All right. So decent chunk of you guys in the chat are getting this iPhone 17. Dwayne said yes for my wife. Elmer said yes. Yeah, decent chunk of you. I wouldn't say it's the majority of people here, but a decent amount. Shub said 17 Pro Max out for delivery. Now the 17 Air, I didn't think was the coolest thing because I'm all about battery life and like I want like a pro experience. But I guess there's some people that love the design of the 17 Air, and even if that thing becomes their next, they've never made an iPhone Air before, you know, like they've had a MacBook Air for a long time. I think Apple was like, hey, we got to switch it up somehow and like figure out a new model, and it came up with the iPhone Air until they come up with the foldable model, which probably is next year. Which I also I don't know. I don't think foldable phones are that exciting, but I think it's bullish for Apple. That's my point. And if it's bullish for Apple, that should lead to more momentum. Apple right there, 240.5. That's up 1.1%. Apple's all-time high is 260. It's not crazy to imagine they get there if they have a really strong Q3 with good guidance. But we got to see if Apple can get there. I'm all about battery life, but your phone is never charged. I've been doing a better job with my phone not always being charged. But yeah, usually it's not charged. All right, we got 3 minutes. We got 3 minutes until the market opens. We had earnings yesterday from FedEx. They crushed it on the top and the bottom. So did they hold their pump? They were up after hours. Wow, they gave it all away. You see that green candle right there from 225 to 240? I don't know what they said on the call. They beat on the top and the bottom, but they're right back down to 227. So FedEx didn't crush it. Lennar, we didn't look at their numbers. These guys are down 4%. I think their call is today. Their actual numbers missed by 3% on revenue, beat by 9% on EPS. Again, Lennar is a home builder, so the rate cuts are going to be very important for them. But Lennar down 4%. FedEx, it had a nice pump. It really did. And FedEx even said the de minimis regulations, which is a regulation that used to allow people to order $800 worth of goods globally and not have to pay taxes on it or like duties on it. Trump got rid of that a couple months ago. That is supposed to affect FedEx and UPS. And FedEx was like, hey, we're not going to change our guidance. We're good to go. And the tariffs are not that big of an issue. So I guess something else happened, but they lost their pump. That stock basically flat. in the pre-market. BMNR, this one has been amazing this week. Back to 60, hit 63.5. Let's see if we can end out the week strong, man. If we can end out above 60, I'd be excited. Grab, if we can end above 630, I'd be excited. Tessie, 420 would be good. Palantir, 177. I mean, even above 175 would be awesome. Robinhood, we are now in the 120s. You know, we've been struggling to get in the 120s. We got to 124 yesterday, and then it faded. So hopefully we can just hold the 120s, and that's important. And then S&P holding the 660s, I think, is incredible. SoFi, I mean, I think SoFi wants to bust out to 29. I don't think it's crazy to see it bust out to 30 like soon. The level of volume you saw, yeah. And when it busted through 28 yesterday, it just like went to 28.50 immediately, and then it kind of faded away. But the fact that it closed above 28 and now it's at 28.26, I think there could be a big move coming there. And in general, if we can just keep the market going the way it's been going, I think that would be very, very exciting for all of us. All right, here we go. How long do we have? We got about 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Thank you, everybody, for being here. It means the absolute world. Again, shout out to Eddie and Brittany. I love seeing people in person and getting to talk and learn about your stories. Last night was awesome. It truly is humbling when people tell you that you're on their TV and inside of their living room and stuff while they're making breakfast. I mean, that just means the absolute world to me, and very, 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 very blessed to be here every single day. All right, folks, here we go. Friday, September 19th, 9:30 a.m. The stock market is now open. All right, wake your ass up. Let's get into it. Hoodie opens flat on the day, 121.48. 121.48 on Robinhood. Palantir, 177.70. Let's see if we can make our road back to 180. We were up 6.7% yesterday. Let's see if 180 is possible on Palantir, 177.33. Nvidia, 176.22. That goes flat on the day. Tesla, 423. That's up about 2%. Not too bad on Tesla. SoFi, 28.32, breaking through 28.30. It was at 28.15 in the pre-markets. That's up about 1%. AMD, 156. That's slightly down. S&P, that's also slightly down. You got a red candle right there, 661.91, just below 662. Grabby grab. We did see 650 yesterday. 643, up 1%. Usually for the past 5 days, grab has been dumping as soon as we get into the open. Grab right there, 646. If we can break 650, that would be very, very bullish. So we got to give it a shot, but maybe it is possible. 646 right there on grab. Reddit 267, Google 253. Oh, Google 254. All-time highs on Google. All-time highs on Google, 254. Congratulations to those heavy in Google. There you go, 254.09. Got the all-time high today. ELF right there, 146. Apple, 242, 52-week highs. Bitcoin right there, 116. TLT is at 89. AppLovin, my goodness, this one's a monster, 629.83. They got into the S&P. They were at 350 5 weeks ago. Now they're at 630. Absolutely incredible. Circle right there, 143. That's up 2%. Pinterest is at 3601. Enphase is at 38. That is slightly flat. Robinhood back to 122. Palantir back to 178. Let's go for both of those. Tesla as well, 425. Rocket Lab, 4740. That one had some dilution this week, so that's why it's been relatively flat, down from the 53 levels. Oscar completed their convertible note yesterday. Instead of it being 350 million, it was oversubscribed, and they got it to 410 million. And so that stock market's kind of digesting the dilution, not really caring that much. 1930, that one's up about 1% on the day. SoFi, let me check resistance on 29. It looks like she wants it. It looks like she wants it. And let's pull that up and see what we've got. Next decade, that's moving as well. S&P against 661. Tessie right there at 425. SoFi 29 resistance is 46,000 shares. 46,000 shares. Oklo, I think Oklo has taken a life of its own at this point. Again, the stock was at $6 in September last year. It's at 110. It has to be the best performing stock of the past 18 months. It has to be. Like, I don't think there's a stock that's performed better. It's a 17x. I mean, and you didn't have to get in at the lows to really make a good chunk of money right here. So I know the whole nuclear tailwind is there, and the executive orders have been there, and there have been some headlines this week, but I mean, maybe it's just Zuck saying we're going to spend so much on CapEx. You need a lot of energy for that. And the market's pulling that forward for Oklo. And you got other people piling in. So that one right there, above 110, up 5.5% on the day. Where is BM&R? Do we get the $60 open? We got a $60 open, 60.55. Not too bad on BM&R. Next decade, that one is 678. That's up about 5.5%. So that is also green. Nubank, emerging markets, is that doing well? Nubank 1619, breaking 16, not too bad, up 1.23%. D-Wave, that one is at 24.12. This one also one of the best performing stocks. It was under $1 last year. Now it's at 24. So it's a 24x. That one also has been doing pretty incredible. Where is Open Door? 1002. Okay, so that one's basically flat on the day. It's a little bit below 10, but that one slightly flat. AMD right there, 156, S&P 661, and then Tesla. Again, the main news on Tesla yesterday was the head of Optimus, the head of AI at Optimus left for Meta. No one knows if he got fired or if he actually left, but he left. HIMS pumped like crazy yesterday. Wow, another 5% move. This thing was up 12% yesterday. HIMS finally getting back maybe to the 60s. Last time it was at 60, it got to 65 and then just went all the way down to 53, then went back down to 40 with the whole Novo stuff, then kind of came back to 60, then fell back to 50, and it's been stuck at 50 for about 2 months. It's looking like it wants to make that move back up to 60. SoFi, we're close. We are close. 2880. 2880. It really does feel like 29's in the cards. 47,000 shares now. I mean, now momentum's there. Now the stock is re-rated. Now people don't really care about a lot of the concerns around it. And Noto has been hinting at acquisitions in the AI space. I mean, there's plenty of tailwinds, obviously rate cuts and refinancing. It feels like if it's that close, it's gonna break through. Google right there, back at 252, down from 254. Hoodie 123. Did we get there? We got very close. 122.98. Did not hit 123. CoreWeave is popping off. A lot of the data center plays had a good week. Wow, CoreWeave, there you go, up 4%. What about Bitfarms? That one is down 1.5, but that's up 20% for the week. How about Nebius? That's at 94. That's up about 0.5%. And then Iren, is that still at 36? That's at 37.50. That's up 3.3% on the day. We have some Amazon headlines. Let me see if I can find some of this Amazon stuff. We'll keep going from there. Palantir again, continuing to show it. Rich, or RR, the robotics company, Rich Tech Robotics, that one also up 9%. This one's had a good week. This one has had a good week. This was $1 like a month ago, and I think it was like $2.50 or something at the beginning of the week. So this one has not been too bad. SoFi, we are close. 2886. It is close. It's trying. It is really, really trying. Palantir, wow, HIMS up 5%. You're getting Oklo that's moving. SoFi is moving. SoFi right there, 5 cents away. Palantir moving as well. 179 on Palantir. Here we go, folks. This is the moment for SoFi. This is it. Someone's got to buy 50,000 shares and break it. Someone's got to buy. BM&R is moving. Okay, so this is kind of, as soon as the market opens, we're getting action that is more bullish. We got to see how long it can last if the momentum continues, but it looks like so far it wants to. 61 on Bitmine. And SoFi, we're still waiting for those final couple cents. Tesla right there, 423. Palantir, 179, very close to 180. Grab, 647. Trying to get to 650. Up, I think we touched it. I think we touched it. Was very quick. It should be back. There it is, 29. 29 on SoFi. There she goes. 29 on SoFi. Let's ring the bell for SoFi. There she is. And you know what's better than 29? We all know what's better than 20 freaking 9. Congratulations to everyone deep in this name. $30 resistance on SoFi, 206,000 shares. 206,000 to get to 29 on SoFi, which doesn't seem that crazy. Maybe not today, but it wouldn't be that crazy if it does happen today. For Palantir, 180 resistance is 120,000 shares. So Palantir's got 120,000 waiting at 180 to get there. AMD right here, 156. Duolingo, 287. That's flat. TFC, that's flat. SLG, that's flat. Intel, that's flat. Intel again up 20% from yesterday. GameStop, that's also flat. Eli Lilly, that's flat. And Dell, that's up a little bit on the day. SoFi right there, just under 29, but breaking through 29. So this is an exciting moment for SoFi because it was one of the major retail companies in 2021 from Chamath. Got a lot of people into it, and it became a nothing burger for almost 4 years until, call it 3 months ago, it really started to re-rate. And so most of the gains in the past 4 years have happened in the past 3 months, which just goes to show how patient sometimes you have to be. But if you loaded and just ignored everything, ignored Robinhood going up, ignored Nvidia, ignored everything, and just said, hey, this is what I believe in, you're being very, very healthily rewarded, especially if you've built up an average under $10, which, I mean, I think a decent amount of people have done that because it was just there for 4 years. I mean, if you don't have an average under 10, then you just didn't know about it for that long. So 28.97 right there on SoFi, getting ready to try to make a run to 30. AMD 156, S&P 661, and then Palantir 179.49. Let me see if there's any macro data coming out today at 10 a.m. The dollar's slightly up on the day. The 10-year, I think, is slightly down, which is not bad. Do we get data today? Today's what, Friday? No data today. Okay, so we're good. We don't have any data to look out for today. The 10-year, actually, no, 10 years actually slightly, it was down in the pre-markets, now slightly up. So you got the 10-year rising a little bit, 4.1, almost came in below 3, but 4.1. We have no China news yet. Trump and Xi started talking about an hour and 20 minutes ago. We don't have any updates on that. I'll have my second screen open to see if we get any updates on that. But as soon as we know, we will know. Oh, Senator Warren sent a letter to Scott Bessent. That came in 5 minutes ago. Senator Warren sent a letter to Scott Bessent. JP Morgan, by the way, upgraded Apple to 280, and the Russell IWM small caps hitting a new all-time high for the first time. They're actually a little down on the day, but they did hit an all-time high about 4 minutes ago for the first time since 2021. So you got IWM making a new all-time high. I wonder what this letter is about. A poem? What is she sending Bessent a letter about? It's not to JPOW, not to Trump. It's to Bessent. I'm curious. I wonder what it has to be. We're gonna see. What is the Amazon headline? I don't see any Amazon headline. I don't see anything on Amazon. So if there is an Amazon headline, where is that stock? Is that stock moving at all? Amazon is flat on the day, 232. The only major headline we had was the OpenAI striking an agreement with Luxshare, an iPhone assembler, to produce a future OpenAI device. That might take years to see what this OpenAI device looks like, but I don't see an Amazon headline in particular. It's a love letter. Please don't punch me. Dude, the Politico reports about Bessent, like Bessent feels like a big teddy bear, bro. He doesn't seem like a guy who would punch you. And like these reports, there's like multiple reports saying this guy freaking punches people. He's just like this violent dude, according to all these reports. Like, obviously, none of these reports are fully substantiated, but like we've seen Bessent a million times. He looks like a nice guy. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Maybe he's got this other side to him. Micron right here, down a little bit on the day. Again, that one was up a lot for the week. We can't complain too much about that. Grabby Grab trying to go for 650. We did hit 648. Volume today is 5 million in the first 10 minutes. Again, I don't know where all this volume is coming from, but it's pretty incredible. Also, I can confirm JP Morgan did upgrade Grab to 720. I can confirm that. I thought that wasn't true, or I just didn't know for sure. But a couple days ago, they did put their price target at 720 for Grab. Tesla 427. Maybe that one's trying to go for 430. Iran, are we trying to go for 40? Iran 3808. That's up 5%. Again, I've got to do a lot of DD on Iran and Nebius. And I have not even started. You know, guys, what I'm thinking of starting? I had this idea this morning. And don't hold me to this because I get a lot of ideas. Thinking of starting a Substack where I do a deep dive every week on one company and I write a full, I did like that 15-page thesis on Grab. I kind of want to do like probably not 15-page, like a 5-page thesis on one company per week. And then maybe make a video about that company along with the Substack. And it'll be free. There's no paid Substack or anything. I want to kind of hold myself accountable to doing one deep dive a week. I think that would be really cool. It would make me a better investor by forcing me to really research a company. And I've never done that to myself. And I've never really forced myself to dive into a company every single week. So And I hate writing, by the way. I wouldn't use AI. I hate writing, but if I like deep dive, like that grab thing, people thought I used AI. I didn't use a single like piece of AI. I wrote it myself. And that's why I think it was actually a good read, because with AI, it just becomes a bunch of slop. So yeah, I think I really want to commit to that. SoFi 29.25, folks. There you go. There you go. $30 might be on the way. Actually, 2 monthly is way better than 4 a week. Yeah, that's every 2 weeks is because you probably need 2 weeks to sit with a company. It's a great point. Yeah, one a week is probably just way too aggressive. I think 2 monthly is not that crazy though. Trying to get there. So I think probably in October, that is the goal. We're going to start that. All right. Palantir is trying to inch into 180, folks. SoFi, 40 cents away from 30, or 30 cents away, or sorry, 70 cents away from 30. Palantir, 10 cents away from 180. We got 122,000 shares. 3 cents. There it goes. 180. Wow. That was quick. That was quick. We are back to 180. For the first time in 4 weeks, ever since Citron Research initiated his short position. I think he shorted at 185, so technically he's still green. But if he didn't get the literal top at 185, which the actual top was like closer to 190 back then he's got to be down on this short, bro. He's got to be down on this short, or maybe he closed the short. But he got close to $40 when he got to 140, but then we kind of bottomed, and now we're at 180. So I don't know if we easily get back to $40, which is Citron's target. But there you go. Palantir, massive resilience, back to 180. Grab 648, trying to get to that 650. And then SoFi, she's normalizing the 29s. And let's see if there's a shot that it breaks through 30. Can't believe we're green after yesterday. I mean, yeah, dude, a lot of people, again, were saying yesterday was a little bit of a blow off top, not for the entire market, but just in general for the week. It's like, hey, like we had a lot of green after the rate cut. Like maybe we chill out on Friday. It's only 15 minutes into Friday. It's still quad witching. So the market makers might start their shenanigans in a couple hours. But at least for the first 15, you're getting some pretty big moves. Reddit right there back to 264. That's down still on the day. Amazon 232. PayPal at 68. PayPal, this one has not been able to move all week. I mean, it was moving until Wednesday and then started taking a little bit of a dip even after the Google partnership. Rocket Lab right there at 48. Where is ASTS? That stock is at 42.66, up about 2.9%. So that one getting some green. Roblox right here, 136. The Q's doing okay. And then Coinbase down a little bit on the day, but nice to see it breaking back to the 340s. AMC partners with secret Taylor Swift event headed to theaters tied to the life of a showgirl. AMC taking a page out of American Eagle's book and saying, let's just partner with the biggest celebrities to pump the stock. There you go. AMC up 6% off a Taylor Swift partnership. Honestly, I think it's a great idea. The Swifties will go to AMC immediately if there's like a real movie coming out about Taylor Swift. So I actually think that's not a horrible idea. Nvidia right there, 176. AMD, are we moving? AMD starting to move. AMD goes green. AMD goes green, which is not too bad. And we're getting some momentum. Adam, thanks for the $5. Is there any news with SoFi or Grab? So there's no news with Grab. This whole pump for the past week and a half, there's been no like legitimate news that I can really point to. Actually, there's a bunch of headlines here and there, but I don't think that moves it the way it's moved. And then with SoFi, I think it's just rate cuts, right? And the market getting excited for the refinancing demand. Also, they're going to grow another 40% next quarter. If anything, they're going to grow closer to 50%. I mean, they grew 44% last quarter. I imagine they're going to grow 45 to 50%. And it's going to be hard for the street to ignore that, especially as rates come down. It's really hard to ignore growth in a world in which the risk-free rate of return is not as good as it was when rates were at 5%. And that money likely needs to take a little bit of a risk, which might end up going into SoFi. Oklo right here. Are we ripping past 110? Palantir again, holding 180. Robinhood holding 122. Wow, Oklo. Okay, can anyone explain Oklo, or is this just momentum? Like, honestly, be honest. Is there a headline you can point to? Is there anything big? Are the other nuclear names moving as well? Nano nuclear. No, I think it's nuclear. That's up 7%. SMR, that's up 5%. I know Oklo has been the biggest mover this week, but still, Oklo probably getting a little bit of a premium just because it's more well-known than some of the other guys. Year to date, guys, 428%. This week, 35%. Like, there's got to be something about Oklo that people are really excited about. I mean, because obviously it's outperforming the other nuclear names aggressively, and there's probably some momentum that's in there. Yeah, LEU, that one's also part of this energy world. Centrus Energy, that one's up 7%. Okay, so it's all. What about Bloom? I know a lot of you guys were talking about Bloom Energy. That one's up 4%. Okay, so everything in energy, if I pull up the heat map, energy should be, yeah, take a look at that. We're pretty much green across the board, but energy's loving it. I mean, the oil and gas companies are not really getting that much love, but the nuclear plays are doing their thing. And they are moving. Energy Fuels, that's another one we talked about last week. That one's up 1%. Soundhound, is that moving? Soundhound is also up 4%. We are seeing a decent amount of green everywhere. I'm trying to see what exactly is the red. Where are we finding red? Microsoft's back at 513. Even Enphase, which is an energy play, but not a nuclear play, that one's down. AppLovin's trying to hit 640. Circle is green. Verizon is still green. UNH is also green. Open Door's red. Is that the red that we're seeing? Open Door? Yeah, Open Door's red. Open Door is red. You got a lot of names that are getting some momentum. Open Door is red. Pouncer, wow, 181. 181.4. My goodness. Talk about a bit of a comeback. Also, shout out to Jason. Jason said if we break 173, we're probably getting back to where we were a month ago. And we held 173 over the past couple of days, and now we're here. So not too bad. 181.40. Just moving. Micron is also red. That is correct. Dude, if we get to 185, Citron, their short is done, or at least their break even on the short, and they could exit. I don't know exactly how shorting works and the timing of it, but like if you short a name and it goes down, but then it comes all the way back up, like is there like a time decay element to that, like an option contract that would still decrease the intrinsic value? Like I'm not super familiar with it. But it's safe to say, unless they close the short at 140, they have not made a single penny off this short. And I feel like if they closed it, they would have said it. But if you put a $40 price target, you would imagine they're waiting for this thing to collapse. And then they wouldn't have closed it even at 140. Because at 140, they probably got cocky and were like, all right, now it's like we were right. It's going to come down all the way to 40 bucks. And that just didn't end up happening. Pouncer right here trying to get to 182. Uber. Is Uber making a move? Uber 97.20. Uber 99.70 on Monday was the all-time high that it hit. SBET is red. Dude, this thing has been a disaster. I'm sorry, but it's not been good. Like compared to BMNR, like SBET has just been horrible. And BMNR is continuing to maintain a strong multiple. So I don't know. I wonder if all these other ETH... Look, if you cannot get a premium to your NAV, you cannot survive. Because all the dilution is just going to keep hurting shareholders. And eventually people are going to be like, screw it, I'm leaving. And they're just going to buy Bitmine. They're going to buy the winner. A lot of these Bitcoin treasuries can't compete with Saylor because they don't have the ability to actually raise capital. So I don't think SBET is dead or anything, but it's definitely been weird that they haven't been able to maintain. I mean, Bitmine is expanding the multiple and Ethereum's been flat all week, but Bitmine's gone up, which means more people are willing to pay more. And that's not always going to exist, but that does mean there's a massive opportunity for Tom Lee to dump shares and buy a ton of Ethereum at a great premium to NAV. And SharpLink can't do that. Also, I think SharpLink started buying back some of their shares this week as well because they went below their NAV, which is good, but it is confusing that they haven't really been able to get that MNAV. Pouncer right there, 181.60, Hoodie at 122. Grab, we hit 650. We did hit 650. Now we got to break it. Let me see resistance for 651 on these smaller names. Each cent has a ton of resistance. 651, that's not a lot. 17,000 shares. That's not a lot. I think we could break through. That. Wow, D-Wave 2530. I mean, that one's not stopping. That one this week has been exceptional. All of Quantum got a crazy re-rating this week after the IONQ CEO, IONQ at $70. He said that, hey, GPUs are going to be obsolete by 2027 and quantum computing is going to get rid of GPU computing as per, obviously Nvidia's moat. I know a lot of people are doubting that, but like the market's not doubting it or retail's not doubting. Whoever's buying this thing is believing what the CEO said publicly 2 days ago, that quantum computing will make GPUs obsolete in 2027. I don't know if I fully believe that, but a subsection of the market definitely thinks there's a shot. That is playing out. Amit, do you still have your 7 December 2027 calls? Yes, I do. They are in my Roth. Let me pull them up. Yeah, this is what they look like. So we're up about 75% on these. So 90 of them, 118. Bought them in June, and they're up about 75%. The reason I'm definitely not selling these $7 calls anytime soon on Grab, and for those that are new to the channel, you haven't heard the story, but the OGs have heard it. I had 250 calls on Robinhood when it was $11, not spreads, calls, which means my upside wasn't capped, for 25 strike. I paid 50 cents for them. I sold them the day of Nvidia earnings in February 2024 because I was really afraid about Nvidia for a $5,000 profit. If I had left them till the end of the year, those calls would have been worth $450,000 in my retirement account off of an $11,000 investment. I mean, like, that's like 100 years of Roth IRA contributions in 1 year off Hood. Hood back to 123. But I sold them because I got scared about Nvidia. So it's like, that's I don't think Grab is going to give that type of return, but if I have 2 years for Grab to be above 7, I think I'm going to hold it. And those were out of the money strikes. Like Robinhood was 11, and I was thinking it'll go to 25. It was so out of the money that was why they were so cheap. The market didn't, the market makers didn't think that it would actually get there, and it got to freaking 40, which means if I had held it, I mean, we're talking about a generational opportunity in my retirement account. That didn't play out, so it is what it is. But it happens. It happens. Grab 650, still not breaking above. Amazon 232, AMD 157, Palantir 181, and then Hoodie 123.14. Dude, my dad still has SoFi Leap. I don't have any more SoFi Leaps. I sold them and I took the money and I bought BM&R like 2 weeks ago. My dad, though, he has $10 Leaps, and he bought these himself. I don't even think I told him to buy. He bought this like a year and a half ago. He is up on those SoFi Leaps. They're worth $19.43, the $10 call for 2026. He's up $13,000. He has 8 of them. He's up 800%. And I'm sure plenty of you are kind of in that same boat, if not way deeper. Jasmine says, holding on to my SoFi Leaps for that reason. Yeah, dude, if you've got SoFi Leaps at like $10, $15, I mean, if this thing, first of all, you're already so deep in the money, but we still have 4 months left. Let's say it really does break out like 35, 40. Let's say it really gets that level. Momentum's there. Rate cuts are there. Like those are going to print at such a level that really could be, a game changer, not only for the portfolio, but like it could change people's lives. If you just like, it would have changed my life if I had a Roth IRA with 400 grand within a year of opening a Roth IRA, but that didn't happen. Right. And it is what it is. You can't get too upset about it, but like with SoFi, the re-rating is happening. The question is, can it have a Robinhood Palantir type of re-rating? And if it does, I mean, some of those leaps are just going to print very well. Shout out to Sachin in the chat. He is very, very heavy on those SoFi leaps. Put in the chat right now if you're heavy on SoFi leaps or SoFi shares or just heavy on SoFi in general. Sachin has been loading boat. And the thing about Sachin is he got on the story at $7, $8 and he had to eat shit for like a year of just like thinking this would play out. And then it ended up playing out. My uncle is deep. I don't think he's deep in SoFi Leaps, but he's deep in SoFi shares in Singapore. So yeah, I mean, someone like a Sachin who's just been analyzing this story, been part of this community, frustrated that it hasn't moved, and then finally it moves. That's why you hold on. That's why you hold on. And now, as Sachin said yesterday, now we're in price discovery. That's the most important thing about SoFi. Now you have real price discovery. Now the market's going to try to figure out, okay, well, what is this actually worth? It's definitely not worth 7. It's not worth 15. It's not worth 21. It's probably not worth just 28. And price discovery can be very exciting for those that have been in it for a while. Stock draft, Matt, 26.77, Amit, 26.59. We beat Matt a little bit yesterday for like an hour, and now we're back to number 2. Tanner's at 20. Tanner's catching up. Steve's at 7, and Chris is at 10.8. If Tanner didn't have TTD, he would be in the running for first. That one's just a tough one. Just like me with Duolingo. Matt's the only one that doesn't have a real Dutch Bros is the only one that's hurting him, but outside of that, he is holding on. So it's Matt, me, Tanner, Chris, and then Steve on the stock draft. Yeah, a lot of you guys have SoFi. A lot of you. Young says I have 50,000 shares and 7,000 calls. Alan has 80,000 Sophia. Goodness gracious, bro. I have 40,000 shares. I have 10,000 shares. Oh my. This is a heavy one. A lot of you guys. MP has 60,000 shares. Elaine has SoFi Leaps. All right. Well, she's doing her thing. She is doing her thing. Nvidia right here, 176. All right. We're seeing some red candles across the board. Palantir, 181 back down to 180. SoFi, very slight red candle. Grab, slight red candle as well from 650 to 646. So we're 20 minutes into the market open, 30 minutes in. Seeing a little bit of red. This is the heat map, still super green. I mean, obviously the market is very, very excited about these rate cuts. It does feel like, I mean, I can understand people's sentiment about this week being so good. Like you're wondering kind of where it fizzles out. And this is what Tom Lee was saying yesterday, which is his clients still don't believe this rally even after the rate cut. And they expected a massive pullback. And you're kind of just not seeing that. Not seeing that at a hardcore level. Hoof says, is this what market euphoria feels like? Proves that you have to be invested in assets or you're losing. It's a good question, right? So market euphoria feels like if you're not in it, you are losing so badly that it forces you to get in it. Yes, to an extent, I think that is euphoric. However, the question then becomes to analyze the nature of that euphoria. Who's not in it? I think is the best question. And this goes back to what Tom Lee's been saying for the past couple of months, which is the people that are not in it are the people that have been so skeptical, mainly institutional investors that have been skeptical since the tariff stuff and have never really believed that we could recover from down 30% to back up to 20%, that now they might be forced to buy in. And that wall of worry is very, very important, similar to the AAII investor sentiment survey that showed that more people, I think I showed this 2 weeks ago, more people were bearish than bullish, which is good because it creates a wall of worry. And eventually those bearish people become bullish, or they're forced to become bullish, and they have to buy. Now, the question is, at what price do they have to buy? So if Nvidia was like $250 a share today, I would say that's peak euphoria because that's just way too aggressive of a multiple. And obviously people are just piling in, but we're not there. Like, and again, we can go through the multiple conversation again and get some stocks. Do they have an aggressive multiple? Yes. But most companies are not trading at an aggressive multiple that you would think is like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm paying that for a company that's growing like an Nvidia or like a Meta. And then number two, it's not anywhere near the .com bubble. So that's why I don't think it's euphoria, even if it can feel like the FOMO is a bit euphoric. Now, Oklo kind of feels a little euphoric. I'm not going to lie. 121. I don't know what to say about this, but congrats for who's in it. Put in the chat. Are you in Oklo? Put in the chat. Who's in this one? I think it's a decent amount of you. I don't think it's like the majority. There's got to be some people that are deep in it. Sachin says the point about market euphoria is the key reason of FOMO, which makes people journey to top of the bubble and then slide down as well. Yeah. And again, if we continue to see skepticism, which all things equal, it's not as skeptical as it was 2 weeks ago after Nvidia earnings, but there still is skepticism, then I think that's a piece of data to understand we're not necessarily in massive euphoria. Anthony said, I sold my Oklo last Friday. Dude, I had a friend at the Hood Summit. He tweeted at me. He sold his Warner Brothers the day before the Paramount acquisition rumors came out, and it was up 30%. And he sold it because Jason Calacanis was talking to Vlad at the keynote at the Hood Summit. And Cal was like, Warner Brothers Discovery sucks. So he was like, screw it. I'm going to sell my Warner Brothers because Cal said it sucks. And then the day after we get back from the Hood Summit, the Paramount rumor comes out. He was so pissed. But yeah, it sucks sometimes to sell early, right? You just, like me with my Hood calls in the Roth IRA, like it happens. But Oklo is just having a massive move. I sold Intel. Yeah, I saw a lot of these comments on Twitter, dude. It's not just Steve that sold Intel a while ago. There's other people that sold Intel literally a week ago before the Nvidia announcement. And, that was the biggest pump Intel has seen in a couple of years. But Intel's still holding on to that momentum. Tesla right there, 427. Intel 2972. Rocket Lab 4776. Okay, so Intel going down a little bit below 30. And then Hoodie trying to hold down to 123. Yes, Oklo makes zero money. They have zero earnings. They have zero revenue. But the executives at Oklo are very, very tight with the Trump administration. 3 months ago in the nuclear executive orders, Oklo CEO and COO were with Trump when they were literally signing the orders. So I guess the street is thinking that there's going to be a ton of deals coming soon. Also, Sam Altman, I don't think he's on the chair of Oklo anymore. I think he stepped down, but he was the chairman of Oklo, which makes you think that, so he still owns a pretty big stake in it. He stepped down in April of 2025 to avoid conflict of interest. That's quite hilarious. But regardless, like OpenAI is connected to Oklo to an extent. If OpenAI needs a lot of energy, maybe the first company they go to is the former company of their CEO, right? Now, all these things have been known, though, for the past year. So why is it now converging to this massive run? I don't know. But these are the reasons why Circle is excited, or Oklo is excited. Meta contract? Did Oklo get a contract with Meta? I mean, that would explain a lot. Let me see if that's real. I mean, if they got a contract with Meta, that probably explains why they're moving. I don't see that being the case. I don't have any confirmation on that. But that would be happened a while ago. Okay, so if it happened a while ago, then again, it's not new news. Like, why is Oklo pumping 35% this week? Even if they do have that contract. And also, how much is that contract worth? Like, was it a couple billion? Or is it like, there's a market cap of 17 billion, bro. They have done zero revenue and zero profits. Forget profits. They're not even in the world of revenue. 20 billion. Like, what exactly are people paying for? It's got to be some type of future growth that people think is coming through. BMNR, are we moving? Wow, BMNR 63, trying to get back. If you break 63.50, that'll be a new high of week, which would also be very, very excited. SMR is up 12%. Nano Nuclear is up 11%. All of those are green. Circle is moving. It's the utilities that will be buying the reactors, so it doesn't matter if they're tight with Trump. That's fair. That's a fair point. It's a fair point on Oklo. 63.23 on Bitmine. Again, the cool thing about Bitmine is me, Tanner, Steve, and Chris. I don't think we've ever all had the same trade. Ever. Tanner was not in Palantir. Chris got out of Palantir. Me, Steve, and Tanner don't care that much about UNH. I mean, I was in SoFi with some options, but Steve's in SoFi, but like Chris was never in SoFi, right? So it's like none of us were ever really in the full same trade, but Bitmine, we are all in this one together, which is kind of cool because it's rare for four people with different brains to come together on the same thesis. And we all kind of are. So I think there's a shot this one ends up, I mean, I can't get these guys to even look at Grab besides Chris. Steve won't even look at it. Google right here, 253, SoFi 29, MD 158 on the day. Is BMNR still a good buy? I don't know, bro. Put in the chat what do you think. I don't know. Like it's multiple. Wow, 63.74. She wants to break 64. Let me check resistance. The MNAV, ETH is not moving right now. So the MNAV is expanding regardless of ETH, which is great if you own BMNR. Is it great as an entry? I hesitant to say yes. Which maybe it's okay. But that also might mean you're just not getting the best entry. Like the reason I was buying at 40 is because it was at its NAV or very close to being below its NAV. That's why I was buying at 40, 42, 43. This one now is like, I don't know if I want to say it's expensive because if they buy a ton of Ethereum over the weekend, then it's going to technically look cheap if Ethereum also pumps a little bit. So I don't know. Maybe you can DCA, but I feel like you could get a better entry on any volatile day. I mean, it's up 5%. It could be down 5% at the same time. So ultimately, you got to just see how this one ends up playing out. Bitmine right there, 63.35. It hit a new high of the week, 63.83. Yeah, it is a buy, but maybe not a buy at these prices. Now, again, even Saylor had his MNAV expand to 4x at one point. That eventually got compressed. I don't know exactly what the Bitmine MNAV is. I don't think it's 4x right now, but it's definitely above 1.5. And that could compress on any reason. If October we have a pullback, Ethereum pulls back a little bit, so it's one of those things you got to just think about if you are getting excited on it. Webull, is that one running? SoFi 2903. SoFi not being able to break 30 yet. Webull 1312. Webull is up 3% on the day. Benjamin, thank you for the $50 super chat. Admit I did a deep dive into Grab after hearing you speak about it so much. I love what I see from the company. What are your Grab spreads and expiration? The Grab spreads are 750 and 10. So buy the 750, short the $10 call for January 2027. So if it goes to around, I paid 34 cents. So if it goes to around like 780, the spreads can do well. They can about double. If it goes to 10, they can 7x. And the expiration is January 2027 on those spreads. Nvidia right here, 177. Nvidia breaking out a little bit. We haven't seen 177 all week. I think we barely touched it yesterday. So nice to see that one moving a little bit. Clean Spark. Okay, so Clean Spark, again, I didn't look too deep into this yesterday. It's up another 4%. If I'm not wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, they are transitioning into a data center play. And that is kind of the re-rating that you are seeing right here on Clean Spark, which is why the market's exciting. So that one getting some momentum as well, along with Iran, Cypher, and Wolf. Yeah, Bitmine's all-time high is 159. I don't know what ETH has to be for us to get there. Again, that was the day that it went from 450 to 160 in a day. I was live covering that. I remember that day. And then it came all the way down to 27 and then kind of normalized. And now it's at around 63. So definitely a very, very, very volatile name, but it does give you potential opportunities for an entry. And then it can rip if you're able to get into a decent entry. Amazon right here at 233. Salesforce making a little bit of a move. And then you got Hoodie at 123.10. Okay, I think we have some updates on the call with Trump and Z. Yeah, let me pull this up right here. I believe we have some updates on the call. And let's see what we've got.
Just across the 10 a.m. mark. So that is a 2-hour call and counting so far. We're expecting that the president will post something on Truth Social when it is all said and done. Not exactly clear when we'll see that or what we will ultimately see in terms of an agreement. The president said on the agenda here is TikTok first and foremost, but also the entire agenda of the economic relationship between these two countries also on the line. So will we get an announcement of a TikTok deal? That's possible. Here's what we know so far, guys. This is largely from David's reporting as well as some other media reports. The plan is to have a consortium that would include Oracle, Silver Lake, and Andreessen Horowitz own the U.S. version of TikTok. It'd be an 80% stake from the U.S. side. The Chinese would retain a 20% stake or just under 20% stake in the revised TikTok. It would be an American-dominated board, and some reports indicate that the U.S. government would get one board seat on the revised American TikTok. The president today question about the algorithm and whether or not
64 on BMNR. She is moving today, up 7% on the day. Got 64 on Bitmine.
This American version of TikTok would continue to use the Chinese algorithm. Of course, that is the central national security concern around this. So we'll wait for some clarity on that. Also, potential clarity here, guys, on whether or not Trump and Xi will meet in person at any point. A lot of speculation that the two men will have a handshake and a personal meeting at some point in Asia this fall. We might get some readout on that. We'll wait.
I'm telling you, bro, this lag is not me. I'm telling you, it really is StreamYard, bro. Like, it really is not the Wi-Fi. It's not. I would let you know if it's the why. It's not. It's being like, why is there an echo happen? There's no reason for an echo. That's a StreamYard audio thing. That's not me. Like, it's being stupid. I also said, yes, I also said the camera wasn't me, but like, okay, now I look like a potato, so that actually might be the Wi-Fi. But the echo and the lag and shit, that's not me. Dude, I want to use UBS. It's just, not UBS, OBS. Oh, it's just OBS that has its own complications every time you try to navigate that because it runs locally on the computer. It just takes a lot of compute, but I don't know. I don't know why it's been being weird this entire week. Yeah, it's the same Wi-Fi as Meta. That's correct. Same Wi-Fi as Meta. Anyway, the point is BM&R right here, 64. So it broke through 64. It looks like we're not getting any details on the Trump China stuff outside of TikTok. Like there's nothing that important there that I'm hearing. I mean, we'll go back and see what else they're saying, but it's not like they're talking, at least I didn't hear anything else that they were talking about that mattered.
Bring you anything as soon as we have it from here, guys. Back over to you.
What I can add, Eamon, is I think every expectation is it will be a licensing deal, certainly for some period of time, under which it will be that Chinese algorithm, if you will, that will be paid. And I think it's, 20% or so the revenues as well will go back to ByteDance, the parent, which owns that algorithm and will be licensing it. And then you'll have ByteDance shareholders who are U.S.-based. So General Atlantic, for example, large shareholder in ByteDance, expected to join as well with new money in terms of at least in TikTok, and a few others, representing as much as 30%, and then 50% new money, which gets the 80% you were discussing. But one of the questions has been, well, does that arrangement where you're licensing the existing algorithm, which has billions of lines of code, does that violate the law that was passed by Congress and signed by the president and upheld by the Supreme Court?
Right. I mean, one of the questions I have from a national security perspective, David, is, if they do just cut and paste the existing algorithm and put it into a U.S. server, to what extent does the U.S. side get to look under the hood of that algorithm and be sure, to assuage concerns that the Chinese government could manipulate TikTok in some way and push U.S. public opinion because of the millions of Americans who are using that on a daily basis?
All right, so nothing else besides TikTok. Bitmine just absolutely exploding at 64.25 right here at 63.77. The good thing is one of you mentioned in the chat, they are talking, which is good. So even if they're not talking about Nvidia or trade deals, I'm sure Bassent's probably going to deal with that and Jameson Greer with the trade representatives of China, but no update on Nvidia, no update on trade. The only update right there is that TikTok is going to be controlled by a U.S. entity. The algorithm will be a bit differentiated for the United States away from the China data servers, and that Oracle and a consortium of private equity and VCs will be owning that stake. So that is the update we have from China. Ethereum, it is weird that Bitmine's moving with Ethereum flat. By the way, SoFi, look at that. Fell to 29.02, right back to 29.30. It looks like she really wants to make a move higher. I mean, that is pretty incredible to rebound from that red candle all the way back up within, 3 minutes? Low 29s back to 29.30. So SoFi showing some real strength right here. Tesla, 428, Palantir back to 181. And then, I'm not sure why Bitmine's moving today. Ethereum's flat. It's not even flat, it's down. So this to me is just pure FOMO. People coming in because they want to be part of it. And I don't know if that can hold. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But I mean, it's great if you own the stock, but if you don't, you kind of just got to see where it plays out. 30 resistance on SoFi again. I think we said it was like 200,000 shares. Let me pull it up. But it's up there in terms of resistance. What's the covered call strategy for BM&R? I have 70 covered calls with a 78.80 break even for November. I think you're in a good spot. You got to let it get to your strike before you even think of rolling it. Now, if you're so confident that it's going to blast through that, you can roll it now. But again, it's just volatile, dude. And you never know what happens in October. Yeah, the reason for the covered calls is also a little bit of a hedge, right? Because if we do get a pullback, then that's where you want to have a bit more protection. $30 is 205,000 shares. 205,000 shares of resistance. Now, my covered calls are more in the money. I'm at 60. So what I've been thinking of is, hey, maybe I roll to January 2027, 105. If BMNR is above 105, that's fine. But I never expected it to be above 105, dude. If I can get basically a 120% gain in a year, I mean, that would be like a $350,000 profit if I had to sell at 105. I'm not that upset about that. And I'll be collecting 60 grand of premiums if I roll it a year out. I collect another $45 a share, and I've already collected 35,000 in premium. So realistically, I'd be selling it closer to 120 versus 105. And if it really does get to 105 by then I just, I will let a portion of it be sold away, and then I'll roll the rest out to like 130, 150. So I don't know. That's what I'm thinking about. I never thought of Bitmine as an investment, bro. I thought of it as a trade because I usually don't invest in treasury companies, but the more bullish I get on Ethereum, I'm like, well, maybe a portion of it should be left as an investment. But yeah, the thing is, exactly as Matthias says right here, the Ivy offers much better return selling weeklies. That is true. The question is, do we think it's going to run away? And I don't think it's going to run away. I don't think Bitmine just gets to 100 magically if Ethereum's flat. I'm sorry. I just don't think that's the case. And at the end of the day, we still have to be realistic, right? And one of the things to remember in euphoric moments is like, hey, this is an asset that is pegged to another asset. The other asset has to move for this asset to be valuable. And MNAV expansion is a good thing, but it's not like MNAV expansion goes to like 100 times. If just no one's going to pay for that. So the question is, do you think Ethereum makes the move that could get Bitmine to double by the end of the year to get to 100? I don't know. I don't know if I think I see this thing at 10,000 by the end of the year. I know Tom Lee does, but he also sees Bitcoin at 200,000. And that one, I really don't know if I see that happening. So we've got to see, but obviously long-term, the momentum of Ethereum is becoming a bit more exciting to me. The problem with that strategy is you'll be fairly locked in for the whole year, even through volatility. Yeah, but look, if I'm guaranteed 105, I can deal with the volatility. Also, if we do get a pullback in 2026, which is inevitable, we probably have some pullbacks up and down, then I don't think it blasts through my strike price. I've also collected enough premiums on it where the math averages out to 1.5% a month for the next year, which is kind of my goal with selling options in the first place. I don't need 4 or 5% a month. Another 1.5 to 2% to me is well. And if anything, I could just take that money and DCA and to buy more Bitmine and then sell the weeklies on those. But I think I like my position. I don't think I really want to add to make it that aggressive. 6,000 shares, I think, is a pretty decent position for now. S&P right here, 661.89. Grab still trying to get above 645. And then Google right here at 253. I think one thing we have to remind ourselves is Bitmine is a bull market leveraged bet. It's very exciting right now going up, but it's also we got to be a little calm about it, I know some people super heavy in it, and I get it. And if rates come down and Ethereum just keeps moving up and Bitmine moves up, but it's also the opposite could happen. You get a pullback for whatever reason, and Ethereum takes a breather, and then Bitmine takes a long breather, and then Tom Lee doesn't get a massive MNAV premium to dilute. That stuff does happen. So I think keeping the position controlled, or at least having some meaningful protection with the calls, is not a horrible idea. Serve Robotics, that one is moving today. Serve Robotics, wow, 18%. These guys make the Uber Eats delivery robots. So I guess there was some news today that got the market excited. I'll see if I can find that news. Serve Robotics getting some momentum here. Nick, thank you for the $10 super chat. Thank you, Mitt, for taking a noob like me along for this beautiful ride. I started 4 months ago, and my portfolio is up more than what I made in my actual day job. And my Robinhood Gold card was approved today. First of all, congrats on the Gold card. You're going to love it. It is one of the best credit cards on the market. And I hope they start rolling it out to a lot more people. And yeah, congrats for being here. It's kind of wild, right? In 4 months, making more than what you make in a year at a regular job. That is the beauty of compounding. And again, I say this example all the time, but if you have 1,000 shares of SoFi and SoFi goes up $5 in a day, you have just made $5,000 in a day. If you have 10,000 shares of SoFi, it's 50,000. It is really wild how, as the process gets easier as you continue to invest, because the compounding of the investments becomes more and more aggressive, especially if you've got in at a lower price, and then you just kind of let the story play out. And you don't have to do anything. Noto's doing all the work. All you had to do was press a couple buttons and believe in his vision. That's it. And obviously can be very, very exciting and, completely change your perspective. So congratulations, Nick. That is absolutely awesome. Thank you for being here. I made almost 3 times my yearly. Yeah, dude, it's quite incredible. What if it goes down? Well, yeah, it could also go. That's why I'm saying I'm a little cautious with BM&R. Like, as bulled up as I am on this, I don't think selling at 105 is the craziest idea in a year on 6,000 shares. And I think it even getting to 105 in a year, like, dude, it maybe gets to 105 by the end of the year, but also maybe it doesn't. Maybe it goes down, maybe it chills out, maybe it flattens out. I mean, MSTR was at 500, then it flattened out to 250 to 300 for like the past year, and now it's barely holding above 350. So I think BitMine's different in a variety of ways. In particular, Wall Street tokenizing on Ethereum is like a way bigger bull case to me than Bitcoin. I'm sorry, it's like Bitcoin's awesome, but like it's just Wall Street doesn't care as much about the use case of Bitcoin outside of store value, which is a massive use case, but it's not the use case that really produces revenue for the JP Morgans and the Walmarts and the PayPals of the world. And so I think that use case is massive. I just don't know how quickly Ethereum will be responding to that. But if it does, then BitMine probably continues to move higher. Is Open Door still red on the day? Palo Alto, that's at 206. Open Door still red, 2%. All right, so even after the rate cut, Open Door has not been able to hold on. I mean, it's still up a lot, but 2 days after rate cut, that one's been relatively flat. It was flat yesterday as well. So you do have some people that are selling Open Door into the rate cut, which I don't know. I don't think that's the craziest thing in the world, but that is what a lot of the Open Door bulls are saying is the main reason to get excited about Open Door. Granted, it obviously could be priced in because it's up. BM&R changed my life. I was able to stop doing OnlyFans and get my dignity back. Thank you, Amit. Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah, BitMine is not staking yet. I think they want to get closer to like 2.5% to 3% before they start staking. When they do start staking, though, it can be really fun. So we got to see. But ultimately, Ethereum is going to need to make a move to help them on that as well. When will BM&R dilute? I think they should be diluting right now, dude. And here's the really bull case on them. What if they're diluting right now and it's still going up? Like, what if right now on the open market, they've already filed up to 20 billion, 24 billion actually, they can dump shares at the money. What if they're doing that right now? And what if there's enough demand of people buying it and the stock's not even going down? Because there's just like more demand than supply, right? Or enough demand to withstand the new supply. Like, what if he's raising like another $1 billion as we speak? It's being gobbled up by the market. And then he's using that to buy Ethereum as it's flat for the week, which means he's getting a discount on it compared to where BitMine's premium's at. And then if Ethereum makes a 2-3% move next week, that's going to only compound into the MNAV. Like, it could get really, really exciting for them. It's just also, it could go the opposite way. Like, as excited as I am, I'm also trying to be a bit more level-headed on exactly, how green it could go. But I think that's why the long-term bull case is exciting for BitMine. Pound right here, 181.55. That's up 2.5%. Grab still 644. And then Google at 253. Let's see if we have any other headlines going on. It's 10:30. We haven't even got to the 10:30 slam yet. We got about 3 minutes. Maybe we do. See if we will get a slam. SoFi new all-time high. Are we there? SoFi 29.40. Wow. 29.43. I think we see 30, bro. I think we see 30. It would be very weird for it to be this close and not get there. I think we get it. There's a couple of headlines on Meta as well. Let me pull these up and see what we've got. On the poll, 62% of you said bullish on OpenAI physical product. 38% said bearish. QS, is this one moving? QuantumScape. This one's up 7%. This is actually not a quantum company, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, they're a battery company. They're called QuantumScape, but battery company. Energy, battery, nuclear, a lot of these names getting a bid this week. Oklo, 124. It was at 115 when we talked about it 10 minutes ago. That's up 20%. 20% in a day. It's a bit aggressive. It's a bit aggressive. Such and says, based on this cycle, based on the stocks in this cycle, we have seen price discovery led to a 20 to 35% move above all-time high in almost no time within a month. SoFi is a similar opportunity, in my opinion, 35 before next earnings are likely. Yeah, I don't think that's crazy. We've seen 20 to 35% moves if price discovery, especially with stocks hitting a new all-time high. And that price discovery is enabled not only from and obviously a new all-time high, which is bullish, but also rate cuts. So you got just more capital that's out there. Also, money market funds, for those that missed it yesterday, pretty good. 19 billion decrease. First decrease we've seen in 4 weeks. Still 7.2 trillion on the sidelines, but the fact that it decreased by 20 billion, it's a very insignificant amount, but maybe it does show people were like, all right, it's time to get out of some of this risk-free money and put it into something a bit more risky, like the broader market. AMPX, that one's moving. That's got to be OTC. Is that? No, Ampress Technologies. This is 1.4 billion. Development, manufacturing of market lithium-ion batteries. Okay, that's probably why QuantumScape is moving. There might be some macro tailwinds or headlines about batteries and nuclear. It looks like those are the two that are really getting some love. Oklo still up 18%, and Nano up 16%. Dude, it's not just Oklo now. Nano's catching up. Where's SMR? 16%. Okay, so what is the headline today around nuclear that I have not seen? It has to be something to get all these guys that are moving. Goodness gracious, bro. We're seeing a massive move. Rate cuts, crypto moves, and in time S&P inclusion will also pick up. Well, see, that's a good point. I forgot about that. Next year, SoFi is eligible for the S&P. I mean, they're eligible right now, right? So if they're eligible for the S&P, you know, we talk about can Hood or a Palantir. I mean, if AWS of fintech starts ramping up, if S&P inclusion is there, you could definitely see it getting more momentum, especially if they keep growing about 40%. Okay, I found this headline right here from yesterday from the Department of Energy. Oklo plans to add another 800 American nuclear energy jobs with a $1.68 billion investment. We are going to help assemble a nuclear supply chain that puts America in control of our energy future. Okay, so that's Oklo saying we're going to spend $1.68 billion, which is them spending money, them not getting money. But I imagine they're going to assume they get an ROI off that $2 billion somehow. SoFi 29.50. She's going for it, up 5%. And maybe that's also making them exciting. Rumors that Microsoft will acquire Oklo. You know, actually, that's not crazy to them. Microsoft just gave $20 billion to Nebius. Microsoft's going to need energy. Amazon's going to need energy. I mean, I think that's the reason it's getting the premium. It's like we all know the hyperscalers need more energy. There's not enough of it. Elon has made this very clear multiple times. And if Oklo has deep ties with the Trump administration, there you go. That's your connection. And then you just wait for the revenue eventually. SoFi, $29.60. All right. Really picking up. Again, $30 on SoFi. 212,517 shares. 212,517. If it gets anywhere near 29.80, that's going to be way too close to imagine. It doesn't actually get there. So now we got to see. Yeah, it's a big 1 minute candle. Does Quadwitching happen in the morning or afternoon? It happens throughout the day, more so around 3 p.m. when options are getting ready to expire. That's when you start to see the brunt of the action. But for now, the market doesn't care too much. Triple V, thank you for the $200 super chat. He is probably having a great day on his portfolio as well. Triple V, thank you for being here. Again, he bought 100,000 BMNR at 40, 100,000 Hood at 98, and 100,000 Nvidia at 164 2 weeks ago. That Friday before S&P inclusion, I mean, that seems to be, at least algorithmically, the bottom of September. What day was that? September 5th? So that was like the first Friday of September. I don't think we've revisited any of the lows on a lot of those major names. And maybe we do. We still got a week and a half left of September. It could happen, but that was a big day to buy. And you had Mr. Triple V who bought a decent amount. Triple V, thank you for being here. And thank you again for the $200 super chat. Ed, thank you for the super chat. Thanks to you, Tesla, Nvidia, and Palantir. I told my boss to go F himself, and I retired today at 48. Wow. Shout out to Ed. Congratulations, man. That is awesome. That is that has got to be liberating. That has got to be liberating. That's cool, man. That's cool. Congratulations. I never had the F my boss moment, but there was one of the clients I was working with when I like officially quit back in 2022. They owed me an extra $1,500, like fully documented, because like I had my invoices and stuff. And so I sent them the final invoice. I'm like, hey, you know, extra $1,500. And they were just like, we're not paying it to you. And I'm just like, but you owe it. And they're like, yeah, we're not paying it. And I was just in that moment, I'm like, you know, it's one of those, it just motivates you so much to be like, dude, I don't want anyone to have any freaking control over me ever. Right? Because I'm like, dude, you owe me the 50. And I don't know, I don't even remember why they didn't want to pay it. Like maybe they were mad I was leaving and I was going to do my own thing. I don't know. But I'm like, you contractually owe this money. I'm not going to sue you for $1,500 or anything like that. But it's like, they're just saying, no, we're not going to pay it. And at that moment, it was just like, bro, you gotta do your own shit. You got relying on anybody. It just, it sucks. And everyone has in a phase of their life has to rely on someone. But being able to even if you can't quit your job, if you have the market, if you have something on the side, even if you're not the CEO of Nvidia, which Nvidia crossing 178 for the first time in 2 weeks. Thank you for Nvidia, trying to get back to 180. Even if you have some Nvidia stock, you know, you feel like you're part of Nvidia. You feel more autonomous. And you feel like you can tell your boss to F themselves one day. Then Nvidia goes down 10%. You're like, yeah, I didn't really mean to say that. What I meant to say in a more intellectual way was, you know, that I didn't, you know, I didn't want to talk that day. I ended up saying the F word. I didn't mean to say the F word. I just meant to say I meant to, you know, go to the bathroom or something. I didn't mean to actually, you know, it's like that. Then it goes the other way. But yeah, the point is it's freedom. It's freedom to an extent. Okay, SoFi right there, 29.38, almost hit 29.62. We almost got there. Now we just got to see if we can. I meant to say go jerk yourself. Yes, exactly. And everyone tries to tell you are doing things wrong. It's so frustrating to the naysayers. Yeah, well, again, a lot of people are afraid of investing. This is not a scam, bro. This is not like we're investing in the most important companies in the world. Like, this is not a scam. Like, there's a lot of scammy businesses out there. You're allocating capital to companies and hoping that their earnings can justify an expansion of their premium. That's it. But even that is so scary for a lot of people to understand. Used to be a fighter for peanuts. Now I can make more in a day than a month firefighting while relaxing on the deck with a cigar. It's a different world. It's a different, and still, so people will see this comment and be like, oh, that's a top because a firefighter is able to make their salary in a day. The problem with saying that's a top, or like the inconsistent logic of that syllogism to make the argument that that's a top, is that this person right here, Ace is Full, is probably one of a million firefighters that's actually doing this. I would reckon most firefighters are not able to just quit their job and then, you know, sit on their deck, watch a market open, light a cigar, and make more in a day than they made in a year. Like it takes a very rare breed of a person, even if you're in a big niche, to actually go do it and officially like be that person. And so to me, it's not toppy. To me, it's like a testament to people's hard work because it's so freaking rare to do that. Most people are not going to do it. Which is a bit more bullish than bearish when I see those types of comments. Josh, shout out to Josh, SoFi baby. Josh, you must be up. Josh, how much are you up today? How much are you? I showed your portfolio yesterday on stream. You got to post a new screenshot, bro. You got to post a new screenshot. He was up 500 grand yesterday. Speaking of people making a lot of money in a day, I think Josh has like, I don't know, what, 200,000 shares of SoFi? Something like that. 150,000 shares. And he held on. He held on for the past couple of years. So you got to be up probably another couple hundred grand today. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff. Engineering Adjacent says, I was able to semi-retire this year. It's been fantastic. Dude, a lot of people, again, I talked to the Hood Summit, have retired and they just trade full time now. And again, when people say that's toppy, I'm like, no, dude, most people can't retire or semi-retire. Like to actually get to that point of life, you have to, like, you don't see everyone just like, oh, I retired. It's like, no, dude, it's a very select group of people that have learned the markets over 5 to 10 years and have done well enough to think they're even in the position where they can do that. But to me, that's not a top signal. That's people that put in the hard work of understanding the markets and are now deciding they don't need to necessarily work as hard as they did before. Now, granted, we're in a bull market, which is helping, obviously. S&P up 0.2% of the day. But it's still very hard to even have a chance to do that. Most people don't have bunches of 10 baggers to send calls against. Yeah. Dude, if you got a few 10 baggers and you can sell some weeklies against them, even at a 0.10 delta, I mean, that's your salary probably times 3 every month, which is rare. It's rare to do that. Palantir, thank you for the super chat, dude. I sent a super chat saying my port hit 100,000. 5 months later, I'm officially at 200,000. Wow, couldn't have done it without this amazing community. Thank you for everyone from Miami. Thank you, Amit. See you in Singapore. Congrats, man. Congrats. 100 to 200,000 in 5 months. Absolutely incredible. This market is creating those opportunities, and we are seeing people take advantage of those opportunities. And it is really playing out. Here is Microsoft's president on their new data center. So we're speaking a lot about energy data centers and how they're getting more momentum. This is the MSFT president talking about their expansion of data centers. Maybe this will give us a little bit more of a glimpse into why some of these nuclear stocks are pumping as much as they are.
$3 billion facility. You just committed to build another one next door to where we are right now for $4 billion. Now, let's just talk about all this spending and where it's going. One thing that we noticed in the last earnings report from you guys was that you guided towards $20 billion in spending this quarter, kind of implying $100 billion in spending for your full fiscal year. Is that what we should expect to see you guys spending on data centers like this over the next 9 or 10 months?
Well, last year, our last fiscal year, we spent about $86 billion, and it's clear the number is going up. You know, it's going up by, I'd say, a significant margin. And so, yes, you can expect us to keep making these kinds of investments because this is what the industry, this is what the world needs.
Now, this facility that we're here, I actually got to look at some of the server racks. They're going to be loaded up with thousands and thousands of these Nvidia GPUs. Got to see how those are going to be housed and cooled and things like that. Nvidia is also in the news today for something very interesting. You probably know you're a strong partner with Nvidia. You're a strong partner with Intel. What is your read on that situation this morning where with Nvidia investing billions into Intel? Do you see this as a political play for the Trump administration, or is there something else going on here?
Well, I'm not in a position to know the answer to that. I do know that we benefit in this country every day. Nvidia is at the forefront of technology. Microsoft is at the forefront of technology. Intel has long been a pillar of technology, and I think anything that's good news for Intel is great news for the whole industry. So I think there's promise to come. That's terrific.
Seems like Intel shareholders and
all right, so Microsoft again continuing to commit. AMD right there, 159. We are getting some red candles across the board. SoFi right back down to 2906. Was not able to break 2960, but trying to get back up there. CoreWeave, yes, they did get a new price target by Loop Capital, 165. They initiated that capital or that price target today. Piper Sandler also initiated, or not initiated, but they maintained Nvidia at 225. So you are seeing some of these price targets continue to increase. On CoreWeave, Lyft, by the way, got an overweight by Piper Sandler from 20 to 28. On CoreWeave, their main argument, I was reading it this morning, it was primarily about again, how big CapEx is and how much CapEx is not slowing down. So even though CoreWeave's business model gets critiqued by a lot of people as just like a reseller of GPUs, you heard Microsoft. I mean, they're upping their CapEx from 85 to 120 billion. You're just going to need a lot more of those GPUs. And that's where CoreWeave's business model still continues to make sense. So they have a 165 price target. CoreWeave got close to that 2 months ago. It actually got to like 187, but then it came all the way back down. And now it's at 124. Amit, it's really hard to believe that quantum will replace GPUs when there's so much CapEx going into data centers. Yeah, I don't think that's happening at all. I really think the IONQ CEO just said some nonsense. I don't know why the stock is up, but I mean, there's some other reasons, I guess, why I mean, like, look, I'm happy for people that are in the stock, but I don't get how quantum computing beats GPUs in 2 years. This is, again, what he said a couple of days ago.
Even 2 million qubits in 2030. And that will allow us to solve problems that classical GPUs couldn't even solve if they had the known age of the universe to try and compute it.
So the Blackwell chip is going to look aged and dated in that scenario in the 2030s when you've got millions of QPUs.
It's going to look dated a lot sooner than that. I think by 2027 we'll have 10,000 qubits in our chip in partnership with our new friends at Oxford Ionics. And honestly, that will wipe the floor, if you will, with any other supercomputer that exists on Earth.
In 2027, quantum computing will wipe the floor of any other computing on Earth. I don't know, dude. Okay, this audio, it's not me, bro. It really, I'm telling you, this shit is I'm telling you, it's StreamYard today. There was a lag in the video as well and an echo. Goodness gracious. It's really not me, bro. I'm going to play it again. Goodness. It's weird. I'm telling you, it's StreamYard today, but it's not the Wi-Fi. It's not. I'm going to play the video again. Let me know if the video sucks when I play it again. But I'll play it here.
Maybe even 2 million qubits in 2030. And that will allow us to solve problems that classical GPUs couldn't even solve if they had the known age of the universe to try and compute it.
So the Blackwell chip is going to look aged and dated in that scenario in the 2030s when you've got millions of QPUs.
It's going to look dated a lot sooner than that. I think by 2027 we'll have 10,000 qubits in our chip in partnership with our new friends at Oxford Ionics. And honestly, that will wipe the floor, if you will, with any other supercomputer that exists on Earth.
Well, you talked about
maybe even 2 million qubits in 2030.
Okay, so that one was better. I don't know why that one was better. The one, like, yeah, the camera stuff and the low quality on that is definitely Wi-Fi, but the audio has nothing to do with that because that happened yesterday. It happened this morning when we played. The echo is not a Wi-Fi thing. The echo is StreamYard's, and it did this stuff 5 months ago. I remember it was doing this exact same bug, and it really was a StreamYard thing. But anyway, the point is, as you can hear him say, by 2027, any other computing on Earth is going to be wiped out by quantum. That is what he said. And I don't know if we're easily going to see that. I don't know if we're easily, like, dude, that's a hell of a claim. Any other computing by 2027 on Earth, Apple, by the way, 242, will be wiped out via quantum. Like, either he's fully bullshitting and it's like, I don't know, it's like, could you say that's like fraud? Like how exactly is he? Or is it like, is he right? And GPUs are going to be obsolete. That is the IONQ CEO. And that stock, again, is hitting all-time highs. So I don't know, dude. That's weird. Because I think Jensen and a lot of the other CEOs would disagree that quantum would wipe out GPUs by 2027. But eventually we are going to see. Now, here is Paul Atkins, SEC chair. He's live right now. He's actually talking about, wow, guys, here's the quote. We will propose a rule change on Trump's call to end quarterly reports. it looks like they are legit going through with this.
Atkins. Mr. Chairman, we appreciate you joining us. It is the issue of the week, if not much longer than that. A lot of CEOs in America and investors trying to understand this proposal and how you're thinking about it right now.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Thanks for having me on today. So this is, welcome that posting by the president, and have talked to him about it. And so you have to realize that right now, semi-annual reporting is no stranger to our markets. Our foreign private issuers do it right now, and it was actually the rule until 1970 when the SEC promulgated the whole concept of 10Qs. So there's been a lot of discussion over the past few years about how this quarterly reporting kind of emphasizes a short-term type of thinking, and have heard anecdotally throughout my life about folks in the private firms and whatnot negotiating with public firms, and they say, it's a great time to do it right before the end of a quarter or the end of the year, so because they can get better deals for themselves. So I think that for the sake of shareholders in public companies, the market can decide what the proper cadence is, and for companies who have debt issuances and things like that, I'm sure their banks will have something to say about it. But in principle, I think to propose change in what our rules are now, I think would be a good way forward, and then we'll consider that and move forward after that. So I welcome the president's putting this up for discussion.
Chairman, speak to this issue. Clearly, it would be beneficial to the companies in terms of just the costs, the mind share, and attention that's oftentimes brought to bear if you're reporting quarterly. At least a week out of every quarter, 4 times a year. Most executives are focused on that. They're not focused on the day-to-day business. That's a cost even beyond the actual economic cost of putting together the quarterly numbers and everything else. The question becomes whether you think the public, especially the public shareholder, retail shareholder, that may not have access to all of the new data streams that professional investors have access to, need that information, need more information, and how you think about that. Because it is clear that the professional class of investor today can get satellite data, they can get credit card information, there's lots of inputs that they can be collecting throughout the year that have value that the retail investor may not have the same access to.
No, that's true. So, but people watch your show and others to get information, and so the dissemination of information is much more widespread than, say, back when I was a kid and I watched my father go through annual reports and proxy statements. So back when you actually could do that. Now I challenge people today. There's so much in these things and a lot of kind of CYA for litigation purposes. But if you look at the way people, even professionals, get their information, they don't necessarily get it from the 10Qs. They look for the earnings calls that the CEOs and CFOs of public companies do, and that's those tend to be things that people concentrate on. Those are very scripted sorts of things to make sure that everything from the company's perspective meshes with what their overall disclosure is. So I think it's a good time to look at the whole panoply of ways that people get information and how it's disseminated and what's fit for purpose. I think that's what we're intending to do.
I'm curious whether you think that once you give companies choice effectively, whether some actually will continue with quarterly reports or might even move into some kind of monthly kind of program. I could see some companies move back, obviously, to a twice-a-year situation, but others who say to themselves, I want to keep this going, and maybe they can create more trust or value for their shareholders, and how you think about that.
Right. We have to remember who the boss is, and that's investors. And so the investors who will demand that sort of information at the cadence that's appropriate to what the company's doing and what it's up to. We have also the whole concept of an 8K, which is for certain types of events and material information that companies need to do that regardless of when the Qs fall. So that's an important concept as well. So we're we want to look at all of this. It's a good time to look at it. That since 1970, a long time ago, we've had the queues. So let's take a look. There have been lots of complaints over the years about short-termism. So let's see what we can do to address it.
I'm not a fan of this. I am not a fan. I also agree with Ken right there in the chat, Bitmine6140. Who's really pushing this, bro? This is not Trump. This is not Trump. Trump got a phone call by someone bigger and more influential than him who likely forced him to do this. Trump doesn't wake up one morning and say, oh, we need to do semi-annual instead of quarterly. Like, no way, bro. No freaking way. The fact that they're legit thinking about it, dude, Paul Atkins, he's the SEC chair. I mean, if he makes it the law of the land, it becomes the law of the land. Goodbye to quarterly reports. It's done. If it actually goes through. I don't even think Congress needs to vote on this. I think they just need to go through the procedurals and then they make it happen. That's so stupid, bro. It is so stupid. I really think it's shooting ourselves in the feet. Like, there's a reason why the United States gets all the capital and liquidity. Like, yes, we have the best companies, but also people have so much data on those companies. And every 90 days is not asking for that much. Pounder did hit 182, right back down to 180, 180. So that one's holding up today. It's not official yet, but based on what he said, it sounds like he's ready to make it official. I mean, it's just tough too, because yes, obviously earnings season is exciting for all of us, but more so than it being exciting, it's like we get an update. Like, I don't own Reddit, but I want to know how Reddit's AI is doing because Reddit's AI has a deal with Google. So I need to know Reddit's growth and their user growth and their revenue growth. And what does that mean for Google and their Google search revenue? Like, just being able to project all this stuff is important. It's really, really important. I don't own Walmart, but I want to know how the retailer's doing every 90 days so I can get a gauge on the consumer. 2 times a year is just, dude, that means those 2 times we got to forget about everything, because like that week or 2 weeks of data is going to be like the most important time of the year, twice a year. But it does feel like it's eliminating trust. They want to entice more companies to go public. Again, I just don't love that argument. I don't think companies are not going public because they're afraid of having to deal with a quarterly report. I mean, I'm sure some of them are annoyed by it, but interest rates have been high for 2 years. That is the main contributor to why companies didn't go public. I really don't think it's because they're afraid of every 90 days putting out their results. Like, also, do we really want to encourage companies that are afraid of being as transparent as possible from going public? Like, I don't. Yeah, it's not a problem. Most companies don't have an issue with putting out their quarterly report, dude. It's called being a big boy. Like, you put out the report, good or bad. I don't like it, but we got to see. Will this cause sharper swings up or down biannually since you can account for longer time period? Yeah, dude, I think the volatility is going to be, if we go 6 months without knowing what's going on with Nvidia, the day Nvidia reports, I would imagine it would be a pretty big market moving event, because it would be 6 months of not knowing what's happened with this company. And yeah, the company can put out some updates here and there, but it's like, at the end of the day, you need the real numbers. I think it would really change kind of how the market would think about it. This is kind of bearish for Hood, 100%. I mean, earnings season is important for transaction volumes. It's definitely not the most bullish if you just get rid of all that info for a company like Robinhood. Ace is full. Thank you for the gift of 10 memberships. Appreciate it. 10 of you guys just got a membership from Aces. Again, thank you for being here. And again, congratulations as well on retiring. Nick, thank you for the $20 super chat. Thanks, Amit. Started watching and following you 5 months ago. Appreciate all that you do. Appreciate you, Nick. And thank you for being here. Mo, thanks for the $50. Hey, Amit, thank you for everything. My portfolio hit 1 million, up from 200 in September last year. Wow. Congratulations. Your streams are like daily therapy and a blessing, teaching me to buy and hold companies. Her Loss is a great album, though. I'm coming around on Her Loss. It is I like a few songs from the album, but the album itself is not too bad of an album. So I appreciate the Drake reference. But congratulations, that's a 5x in less than a year. Pretty freaking incredible. And thank you for being part of the show every day. Where's my gifted memberships? I've been watching since 2024 February. Dude, it's random with YouTube. They will just assign it to whoever they see in the chat. I think sometimes it's based on how much you comment. I don't know what their algorithm is but it's literally just random with the gifted memberships. Couch just tweeted at me that he left StreamYards for Streamlabs. I think I'm gonna look into that, guys. Couch is like, I left StreamYard a while ago, bro. They suck. I think I'm gonna look into that. I think it's time. Oh no, Restream, not Streamlabs, Restream. Also, Sam said he's using Restream as well. All right, I'm gonna look into that this weekend, bro. I'm gonna prove to you guys it's not the Wi-Fi. If I change the Restream and it still is messed up, then it's definitely the Wi-Fi. But if we switch to a new streaming platform and it's not messing up, I'm telling you it wasn't the Wi-Fi. There are some moments where, yes, it was the Wi-Fi in some moments. But a lot of the time it is StreamYard being stupid. And I'm ready to move on from these guys. If we can get someone else. YouTube, how many more till 100K? Oh, we're close. We are close to 100K. Don't they have hold on, is there a YouTube live sub counter? Do we have one of those? We are about, how much are we about away? About 20, I think. Let me see. Let's see if we can pull this up. Yeah, we're about 20 subs away, I think. I think it's pretty close. I don't know, it was that close. How do you, let me see. There's a website that tracks it. Okay, there you go. There you go. My YouTube is, why don't I just pull up my actual YouTube? Why am I even looking at these random? Yeah, let me just pull it up on my side. That's easier. Okay, there you go. There you go, folks. We are 8 away. We are 8 away. Dude, I didn't even realize until one of you guys reminded me of it. All right, here we go. Here we go. Time for everyone to mass unsub now. Time for everyone to mass unsub. They do this to Speed. I think Speed, who's another streamer, he was at like 42 million. But right before he got to 42 million, like 300,000 people unsubscribed. And he got so pissed off. It was hilarious. All right, let's see. I'll do the refresh. Oh, no, see? You no, some of you guys are fucking with me. Look at this. Right back down. Right back down. All right, you guys, it's gonna be a little back and forth. It's gonna be a little back and forth. Dude, you guys are actually unsubscribed. That was 975. You guys are legit unsubscribed. It's hilarious. This is the game that everyone plays every time. Every time. Some of you guys are savages, bro. Absolute savages, bro. This is what you guys do. This is what you guys do. This is what, dude, everyone has to deal with this when they're like trying to get to a milestone. Because the chat just like tries to mess with them. That was legit going. You guys are hilarious, bro. All right, so we're gonna leave it till Monday, bro. We're gonna leave this shit till Monday. 10:30 a.m. sub dump. Exactly. Exactly. The Wi-Fi unsubscribed me. Dude, if Restream actually works, then it's not the Wi-Fi. Hoodie 122 grab also falling from 650. So that one not able to hold 650. SoFi just not able to get above 30. Nvidia 177, Tesla 423, Palantir 181, and then Robinhood 122. It's weird for me too, because I never asked for subs, bro. I don't think you can find a single video on the channel in 5 years that has said, hey guys, please like and subscribe. Like I've just never done that. That's just not my style. So, you know, it's been very natural to get there. And that's how it's been. And there you go, folks. It has been a long journey, 5 years in the making. We are officially here. Thank you, everybody, from the bottom of my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, we have hit 100,000 subscribers on the channel. There it is. There it is. 100K. We are there. That's so awesome, dude. That is so freaking awesome. Yeah, I mean, again, sometimes these milestones, these numbers, you just like, you kind of don't know what to feel when you see them, but it's, I don't know, dude. I don't even know how to describe the journey over the past couple of years. It's just been, dude, definitely a neighbor is going to come knock on my door and be like, what is going on? So far, the neighbors haven't cared. Eventually, they're going to say what's going on. Yeah, I mean, look, I just, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to everybody who subscribes. It, I don't know what to say. I really don't. It's been such a, I think all of you hopefully know how grateful I am to be on this ride, be on this journey. It's been a wild 5 years. I mean, it's been a wild 5 years. And I just think the reason it's worked and the reason it's made sense and the reason it's growing is like at its core, I'm just really, 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 really grateful to be doing this every single day. And I was telling Eddie and Brittany this yesterday. You know, they were asking me some deep questions of like, how does it feel? And, you know, this and that, and like, what emotions do you go through every day? And I'm like, I just am so unbelievably grateful to, like, every morning, I don't think I've ever told you guys this, but every morning before I get on the stream, I go to my bathroom mirror and I kind of just like, I take a moment of like 10 seconds to just remind myself like, hey, like you're in a really blessed position. People genuinely care about you and your well-being and your thoughts and opinions. And, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a meditation moment for me every time, like literally right before I come on to the stream. Maybe that's why I'm late every day. but it's those 10 seconds of just like, hey, just remember, like, you know, this is a very special privilege to be in. And for these many people to actually care about you and your journey and what you're doing and your stupid, quirky little jokes, it really does matter. Josh says while taking a shit. This is why you're the best chat on YouTube. No, it's not while taking a shit. It's like I said, I look in the mirror. Who has a mirror in front of them when they're doing that? I don't know who, like, I have, like, it was a regular mirror. No, seriously, I look in the mirror and I just tell myself for 10 seconds. I don't think I ever told you guys I do this, but I guess today is the day to tell you that. I just try to ground. I never forget it. Even when I'm traveling, I never forget to do this because it's really important to ground yourself and remember, hey, like, you know, you're about to talk to thousands of people live and you just want to make sure you're grounded for the fact that you're in this position to do it. So it's flexing in front of the mirror. No, guys, look, I deeply appreciate it. I really, really deeply appreciate it. Thank you for all the congratulations. I'll get to all the super chats in a second, but it means a lot. I know a lot of people have been on this journey. We've all made a lot of money together. We've changed our financial lives. I was broke 3 years ago. I'm not broke anymore. And I know a lot of people were in that same position. And I don't know, you know, it's very rare in life when you get lightning in a bottle, right? And this entire journey to me has been lightning in a bottle. You capture the lightning and then you just want to hold on to it for as long as you can. And you want to nurture it and make sure that the reason you want to give the universe a reason to be thankful for them putting you in this position. Universe being a metaphor for just the nature of life getting me to be at this point. And it's really my mom and my dad. My dad grew up with a work ethic that he hasn't taken a day off in 35 years. He just will work constantly, which gave me the ability to even be consistent enough to develop an audience that actually cared about watching every single day. And my mom has the compassion side to it. My dad has the work ethic of, hey, you don't ever complain, you get the job done. Even though I complain about the Wi-Fi and the StreamYard every day, but like you get the job done. And then my mom is the part of my personality, which is you don't be an asshole. Don't be an asshole. Don't do shit that is
obviously wrong. Just don't do it. Don't do it the wrong way. If you don't do it the wrong way, you're going to be blessed and rewarded. You do things the wrong way, you sell out, you try to get people's money, you try to make fun of people, you try to, become a dick, you get cocky, arrogant, you do all that stuff, you're going to lose all your blessings very quickly. And so the two ways I was raised in life was work your ass off and do it in a humble way. And if you put those two together, it should result in something. I didn't know it would result in this. I didn't know it would result in, thousands and thousands of people caring every single day, but it means the world. It really, really means the world. Julie says, I'm going to go tell my kids to not be assholes now. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Organic growth plus humility is the formula for success. I think so. Success is hard in life. Even calling this success is weird. Just like any level of ambition is hard to see it manifest in life. What was kind of crazy last night? The craziest part of last night, outside of meeting Eddie and Brittany, I was like sitting in bed getting ready to sleep, and then I get the notification on Twitter that Vlad responded, and I'm just like, it's crazy, bro. Like, this is a multi-billion-dollar CEO commenting under your videos of you and a couple friends meeting up because you guys are original hoodlums, and it's just like, it's one of those just moments where you're looking at it like, dude, like this shit, like I didn't know this shit was gonna happen 5 years ago. And then Carp coming on the stream and him being genuinely excited to come on the stream. I mean, we got to have a great conversation after the stream, and he was just like so happy about what has happened and the journey and all this stuff. And you could tell there's real love and like passion, like that shit. I didn't think that would happen 5 years ago, bro. I don't know what would happen 5 years ago. All I knew is like, you just go for it. You have one fucking life. You try to make the best of it that you can. You try to do it in the right way. You give back whatever you can, and that's it. And hopefully something good happens. Hopefully something good happens. It was all a dream. It was all a dream. That is it. Thank you, everybody. I deeply, deeply appreciate. We're basically at the end of the market open anyway. Hopefully people aren't too upset. We got into the little 100,000 speech. Nothing too crazy is going on in the market. See, I'm more concerned about the headlines, seeing what's going on, but nothing crazy is going on right now. So I think we're all right. S&P is basically flat right here. That's it. We're here. We're here. We're doing it. We are doing it. We are actually doing it. BM&R is under 60. See, I told you, bro, this shit is volatile. Like, you could have rolled those $60 covered calls when it was at 63 and then it goes to 59. Like, sometimes you got to just let it like really break out before you roll your calls on a name like BM&R that's super volatile. Sometimes you got to just let it play. Your speech brought down BM&R. I'm sorry. Yeah, BM&R might be diluting right now, actually. That might be happening. But again, deeply, deeply, deeply grateful, dude. I was telling Eddie and Brittany this last night, but I've started to, I don't think I've said this like on the stream yet, but dude, in the past week, I've got recognized 7 times. Like, as I'm walking around my neighborhood, like just random people coming. And that's new to me, dude. I was in Starbucks with Amir, and a dude was like, hey, you're Amit. Like, it's like that shit. I don't know how to think of that. I don't know how to conceptualize that. That is like, there's a whole different world. And I'm getting used to the fact that it's kind of like, it's weird because you're becoming a public figure. Like, there's like people that actually know you exist in the world, and it's just like, just dealing with the fact that people actually know who you are, and a decent chunk of them care about you and deeply appreciate you and want to take pictures with you. Like, I never imagined that would happen, but that's happening. And those eyebrows are quite recognizable. That is fair. But there's a part of me, I can't say there's not a part of me that doesn't love it, that doesn't absolutely love it. And I think it all stems back from, again, it's the story that I've said a billion times, but I really wanted to be the next king of pop after Michael Jackson died. It got so influenced. I wanted to perform. He inspired me to like imagine what it would be like to control an audience and perform in front of them and entertain and all that stuff. And I didn't have the musical talent to do that. So, but the essence of that dream, ever since I was 10 years old, has always stayed the same. The manifestation of the essence of that dream turned into whatever this is, which is stock market, financial content, live streaming. And it's been the greatest blessing of my life because it allows me to perform every single day, which is why when Arnie said, hey, are you tired of it? I'm like, no, bro, like, it's not about the money. Like, it's I just love doing this every day. And as a result of that, yeah, more people are going to recognize you, more people are going to know you. And with that comes challenges as well, because in general, it just feels like, you know, your privacy is not as private anymore, right? Because more people know you. But the upside of it and the love is hard to imagine. It's really, really hard to imagine. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. It really, 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 really means a lot. It really, really means a lot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for everyone being here. Let me get through these super chats, but thank you guys. It means a ton. Deeply appreciate it. You guys don't have to, you know, even be here and enjoy the journey, but the fact that you're here and the fact that you care, it means a lot. It really, really, really means a lot. Nick, thank you for becoming a channel member. D-Wall, thank you for becoming a channel member. JS, thank you for the $14 super chat. Congrats on 100,000, brother. Always authentic with the right level of cringe. See you at the next Toronto meetup. Always the right level of cringe. Always the right level of cringe. Thank you, man. Linky Link, thank you for the 50 super chat. Congratulations. Omer, thank you for the gifted 9th dimension. Thank you for the super chat. Siege, thank you for the $100. We are watching the making of a modern version of Warren Buffett. Congrats on 100,000 subscribers. I am nowhere near the Buffetts, the Druckenmillers, or any of those guys in the world, but you know, maybe the ambition should be to be like them one day. I don't know. I never thought that deep about it, but who knows? I think that's a lifetime journey, but I'm nowhere near that. And I'm deeply, deeply grateful for even saying something like that. But and I think part of this whole journey is recognizing how much I don't know. I mean, that's what I was talking to Brittany and Eddie about last night. Part of this journey is about how much I don't know, right? And part of the reason I think people were attracted to the journey originally was because I didn't know what a market cap was 5 years ago, bro. I think someone on the stream asked, like, what's the market cap of Tesla? I was like, market cap? Huh. That's an interesting term. What is a market cap? Like, I was like 200 people live and like, we're watching someone that doesn't know what a market cap is. It's like, yeah, but I'm going to be honest about it and we're going to learn it together. And I think just embracing that raw honesty and being authentic about it to maybe one day, who knows, getting to wherever this journey leads to, that is why people have enjoyed it. It's just, you didn't act like you knew everything when you didn't know everything. And that was the whole goal of it. Lowat, thanks for the $5. Way to go, Mitt, for 100,000. James, thank you for the $20. Congrats. Thanks for all you do. Keep being you. Payush, thank you for the gifted. Pound Tired, thank you again for the $100 super chat. You already gave $100. Deeply appreciate it. Congrats, bro. Nobody deserves it more. Means the world. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the super chat. Mods, thank you for the 50. Congrats, Mitt. You really deserve all the help you've been providing to the community. Keep up the hard work and you'll become one of the biggest YouTubers in the world. And Mitt, we believe. Yeah, I appreciate it. You know, a lot of people ask like, hey, why aren't you at like 500,000 subscribers? And I'm like, dude, I don't care about 500,000 subscribers. I care about how many people are there live every day and feeling an impact from the content. Like, I quite frankly don't care about 100,000 or 90,000. It's not about the number. It's about, are people there? Are they enjoying it? And is there a real life impact? And over the past 2 weeks, especially with the Miami meetup, I realized this is becoming a bit bigger than I thought from an impact perspective. And obviously the numbers are a byproduct of that impact. And so, yeah, hopefully we do have 1 million subscribers one day, but more than 1 million subscribers is the 40 people that were watching in 2022 versus the 4,000 people that are watching now. It's like caring about those people more than the arbitrary metric to me is the most important thing. Chris, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Greenback, thank you for the $50. Congrats, brother. Appreciate all you do for the community. Thank you for being here. And thank you for it. Ash, thank you for the $20. What's even more impressive than 100K subscribers is your daily average live audience during the streams. Engaging the audience and subscribers is extremely hard. I was a sub since 10,000. Keep growing. Yeah, I mean, basically just a segue off what I was saying. That to me matters more than anything. It matters more than anything. You know, we had 40 people watching. Now we have thousands, and getting people to come back every day is not easy. So, and the fact that when I take a day off, you know, people are upset, like that to me just shows there's real product market fit and people care, and that means the world. So thank you, Ash. I appreciate it. It's cool. Thank you for becoming a channel member. Jed, thank you for the $100 super chat. Congrats to the best community on YouTube. Also, these join you cheap bastards. Jed has like 25,000 shares of Rocket Lab or something at $4. So congratulations, Jed. That one is absolutely taken off. That is done more than a 10x for you. So some congratulations and thank you for being here. Johnny, thanks for the super chat. Congrats on 100K subs. You've changed my family's life. May God continue to bless you. Thank you, Mitt. Johnny, thank you for being here. And thank you for taking the knowledge you get from the stream and helping out your family, which is kind of one of the most rewarding parts about all this, right? Helping our loved ones. That to me is one of the biggest parts of all this. Mac, thank you for the $5. Congrats, Mitt. You're better than I show speed because we learn every day. Stay humble. I will stay humble and try to get as big as I show speed one day. Appreciate it, man. Elvis, thank you for the $20 super chat and the congratulations. Pedro, my wife and I earned 7 figures year to date. First time I can say this because of Mitt, his peers, and his beautiful community. God bless you all. Pedro, thank you for the super chat. That's the other really big thing about this. I would not be here without Chris, without Steve, without Matt Money, Sam, Couch, Jose, all of these guys that are just random dudes that are just living our life, but we ended up nerding out about stocks, and then, they call into the stream and they have fun and they give their insight and wisdom. Like, it really is a community effort to get here. Tanner, Roy, all these guys, without them, I wouldn't be here. Without them, I don't think the content would be that interesting. So the fact that all of us as a community are able to communicate every day in our own way, I think that's what just makes this so awesome. Mickey, thanks for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. Cy Tran, thank you for the $10 super chat. JTB, thank you for the $20 as well. Neem, thank you for the $20. Congrats on 100K. My nephew mentioned you to me last month, and I've been listening every day. This isn't much, but you can buy 2 pounds of Wi-Fi at your local gas station. Shout out to your nephew, and thank your nephew for mentioning me. When I switch from StreamYard and we don't have issues anymore, you guys will believe it's not the Wi-Fi. Hopefully on Monday, we'll see. If there's still issues, it is what it is, but we got to see how it plays out. Julia, thank you for the $2. You're the best because you are humble. Appreciate you, Julia. Thank you for being here. Zach, thanks for the $50. Congrats on your first 100K and onwards to greater heights. Thank you for coming on every day and being such a great support to us retail traders. Looking forward to meeting you in Singapore. We are going to be planning Singapore soon, and I am very excited to meet everyone there. Lee, thank you for the $50 super chat. Thank you for being here. I think you were at the Miami meetup, if I'm not wrong. Pretty sure you were. So thank you for coming to the Miami meetup, and thank you for being here. Fets Invest, thank you for the $20. Congrats, Mitt. You've been a big part of my wife's daily schedule since 2022 and a massive part of why I held Pouncer when things were down. Your DD is gold. Can't wait to continue watching your journey. Pouncer has been another reason why, this has been able to happen. And I was telling Eddie and Brittany that last night as well. It's like, Pouncer, a lot of people think it was luck. Can't blame them. It is what it is. I think I put in a lot of work to analyze Pouncer, but I understand that. Robinhood was like, okay, maybe it's not luck. And then we'll see with Grab, right? We'll see how Grab plays out. But even the sort of artistic element of these 3 albums being out there, I don't know what other financial YouTuber thinks of their stock picks as like albums and their journeys as albums, but that's where the creative element of my personality really embraces it. And I deeply, deeply appreciate people that are on the journey and, we're able to hold on even when things were tough, especially with Pouncer. So thank you, Fets Invest, for being here. It means a lot. Pablo, thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Shem Pasta, been here since 2022. Congrats on 100K. You deserve it. I was told there was a comedy hour on the stream. There's a comedy hour every day on the stream. There's like 3 hours of comedy. So thank you for being here. I'm Benny, my brother. That goat sign right there is from Benny. Appreciate you, man. So happy we met at the Miami meetup. And I hope you come to New York soon and we'll be able to chill. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in the chat every day. And thank you for helping out, dude. Thank you to all my mods for helping out. Tess, June, Benny, Erwin, Zocold. I mean, so many of you guys. I'm so happy we got to meet in Miami and like actually be in person. Dougie, all these people, like they allow me to do that. They're not getting paid to be mods in the chat. They're just happy to be here every single day and contribute and get rid of the spam and all this stuff. And like, that means a lot. That really, really, really means a lot. Mila, you were at the Miami meetup. Thank you for coming through. $20. Thank you for the 100K super chat. Wish you for the best. And thank you for all your market insights. Appreciate you, Mila. Thank you for being here. Kim, thank you. You guys are being really kind, bro. You guys are being really, really, really kind. I really appreciate it. I do not take it for granted. I'm sorry if this is annoying because I'm reading all the super chats, but I just really want to acknowledge the people that are here. Thank you for the gifted 20 memberships. 20 of you guys just got gifted on the memberships. Market's not moving. S&P's flat. SoFi's flat. S&P. Okay, so nothing crazy in the market. Don't have any crazy red candles either. So we're kind of chilling on that angle. Thank you for the gifted 20. Costin, thank you for the super chat. Not much, not even following your picks, but just love these live streams and the community. Congrats on 100,000 subscribers from Romania. Thank you for the $20 from Romania, Costin. The international element of this community also is very, very humbling. So many people across the world. I deeply appreciate it. Deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate it. Mo Stocks, thank you. I want you to be the first YouTube billionaire in this community of thousands of millionaires. I don't know if I get to 1 billion, but I do know that a lot of us have either got to 1 million or are on our way to 1 million. Many people hitting that 500K milestone this week, as people said in the chat. And I think we're going to get there. I think a lot of us are going to tackle that 1 million over the coming years and probably go higher from there. So it's been awesome. It's been really, really, really freaking awesome. And it's just been an incredible journey. Incredible journey. Fake Spike, thank you for the $5. Congratulations. I watch you every morning. I even bought a bell now. Now it's time for, really? You bought a bell? Okay, I got to give you another bell when you ever come to the to a meetup. We got to get you another bell. Thank you for being here. JR, thanks for the super chat for $20. Congrats, bro. Been a member since sub 1K. I would listen to you from work to solidify my conviction for Pouncer. I'm in hood and grab, riding the waves with you. Amazing, and you deserve everything coming your way. See, those messages mean a lot. The people that were here in Palantir early, and there's only a couple thousand of us in the very, very early 2022, 2021 late videos, and those were the days. Those were the days, and now we're here. And now we are here. It's just so crazy when I think about that part of the journey as well. Like Palantir. I was analyzing it for the hell of analyzing it. There wasn't some master plan where it's like, I'm going to invest in Palantir and make videos and then it's going to turn into this brand. It's like, no, dude, it's like made a video. People liked it, made some more videos, realized I like content. I like the stock market. And then Palantir stayed dead for 2 years and still tried to just make whatever videos I can and build the brand as authentically as I thought I could build it. And then Palantir ended up taking off, and then the channel took off, and so it's like these serendipitous moments in life which don't come often. It really does. When I'm sitting on my deathbed one day, I'm going to remember, like, back in 2022, that was how I started my career. That's how I started whatever this is today. It was the serendipity of finding this company, talking about it, building a real community, not trying to sell out to that community, and then launching from there. And so it just means so much that people have been on this journey along the way. So here we are. Ashley, thank you for the $10. Thanks for the infectious enthusiasm. That's the other part of this that I really try to get out in the morning every single day. It's like the passion and enthusiasm. Like Brittany was saying this yesterday. It's like when she recommends me to her friends and they turn on the stream and it's like, hello, everybody. It's like this massive level of just like enthusiasm. Even when I wake up and I'm a bit drowsy and I'm probably not as enthusiastic in general, I didn't get that much sleep. Like, just seeing the energy from you guys gives me the energy to put on a show, which is what this is every day. It's a show, it's an experience, and I want people to enjoy it. And I think that's, people care. BCAP, thank you for becoming a channel member. Stuart, thanks for the $10. Love you, man. On behalf of the entire community, thank you, Stuart. Thank you for being here. T. Flynn, thank you for the $20 super chat. Deeply, deeply appreciate it. Kerbrats, thank you for the $20. Much appreciated. Started investing. Savings end of January. I'm up 60%. And thanks for the membership as well. Congrats. 60% since January is incredible. Nikhil, thank you for the super chat. Congratulations. I started investing in January and I'm up 130%. You're amazing. That is incredible. Obviously, it's been a bull market, but that bull market, you've had to make some good picks. And if you've been able to make some good picks, then you've done very well. Evan, thank you for the $20. Congrats on 100K, Amit. So well deserved, my man. I haven't been around forever, but ever since I started watching like 6 months ago, I'm hooked. You're an authentic, grounded dude that truly deserves the title of influencer. Davin, you've been very, very, very gracious with these super chats. So thank you for being here. And I know there are a lot of new people that have joined in the past couple months. There's been people watching for 3 years. Then there's people that just joined, popped up on their stream. They clicked it, and whatever reason got them to join, they joined. But I deeply, 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 deeply appreciate it. Ed, thank you for the $20. Congrats on 100K. You are the one that gave me the conviction to average down during the dark moments of Palantir. If not for your DD, I definitely would have paper-handed. Can't wait to meet you in Singapore. Ed, can't wait to meet you as well. Yeah, I think there's a lot of there's a lot of Singapore Palantirians that I know that I think Singapore and South Korea were the two biggest international countries that really diamond-handed Palantir. So that'll be a fun Palantard meetup in Singapore. Thank you, Ed, for being here. And thank you for being part of the stream. Trucker Rob, thank you as well for being here. I live for the market streams and learning from you and the show guests on the weekends when the markets are closed. I don't know what to do with my life. Congrats on 100K. Have a beer on me. I will definitely have a beer on you. Thank you, Trucker Rob. Thank you for being part of the show. Guys, I don't know what else to say other than I appreciate it. I know it's been like 20 minutes. We haven't even looked at the markets. BMR back above 60, but I deeply, deeply, deeply appreciate it. I mean, if this show goes on for like, I don't know, 10 years, 15 years. I mean, I don't know. I don't ever want to end it. I don't know if I can continue it for that long, but like, just imagine it's 2035 and we're here every day, every morning, like we were for 10 years. I mean, it's been 2 years of consistent market opens, I would say, basically 2 years. What happens when that's 10 years or 15 years? I don't know. But just knowing that there are so many people here in the beginning, just means a lot, bro. I don't have the words. I really don't have the words. And like my mom doesn't understand. I mean, my mom, she might be watching right now. She sees the amount of love you guys give, and she's just like I mean, like, because it's a mother, right? It's like, I think a mother at the end of the day just wants the best for her kid, and she wants them to be successful, but she also wants them to be happy. And my mom, again, she never was the traditional Indian parent that's like, you got to be doctor, lawyer, engineer, and like I know it's a stereotype, but it's real. It's real. That I talked to a lot of my Indian friends. Like their parents are like, oh, you want to be a YouTuber? No, buddy, we're not paying for any of your college. You want to go make some stupid YouTube videos? Like, you have to go a route that doesn't dishonor the family when they go to their fancy dinners and they have to say, my son's a YouTuber, because they want to say, my son's a lawyer. My son works at JP Morgan. And my mom, she didn't give two fucks about that. Ever. Her entire mentality was, he's going to do what he wants to do. And as long as he's happy, I will support him. And, that to me is the, that to me is the most emotional part of it. Like, that's just like, because it's really hard to be creative in life, right? It's really hard. Because how do you monetize creativity? How do you develop an audience of thousands of people that actually care about you? Which is like the whole point of creativity, right? Is you have to create something for people to consume, and for those people to actually, embark in the journey of your creativity. Like it's really hard. You got to be the best musician. You got to be the best athlete. You got to be the best singer, the best dancer, the best actor. And for every Leo DiCaprio, there's a billion of them that tried and failed. For every Justin Bieber, there's a million of these guys that failed. So it's literally a 1 in a billion chance to actually be creative, get paid for your creativity, and then go on a journey that is rewarding with pursuing a creative endeavor. And it's really hard when you don't have people that are supporting you. And, a lot of creatives don't have the privilege of having their parents support them. But, my parents, even though my dad didn't understand what I was doing, my mom didn't understand it, but my mom was like, whatever, he'll figure it out. My dad was like, I think you might be screwed, bro. You probably got to go get it. But he never said that. You could tell he felt that. But at the end of the day, he never said it because he always just had faith that I would figure it out. And so my mom was super, go chase your dreams. My dad was like, all right, your dreams are not making any money, but, still go chase them. And it's just really hard to do it when you don't have parents that are supportive. And I'm very, very blessed that they supported. They literally supported financially. I didn't have to pay rent for the past 5 years, right? They kept me in their home. But more importantly than that, emotionally, through all the ups and downs, they said to keep going. And now this is just a whole different world for them. Seeing all these comments is a whole different world for them. So, Amit, you need to stop calling yourself a YouTuber. You are a broadcaster, market commentator, interview on the financial markets. Honestly, I think this is also the humility of just like, I don't care what you call me, YouTuber, financial broadcaster. I don't give a shit. It is what it is. And I think a couple of years ago, maybe I cared more about like the perception that other people had. But now I'm just like, dude, I get to do this every single day. Whatever you want to call it, you can call it. But the journey of being able to do it every day at this scale, at this level, it's 1 in a million. And I'm just grateful to be here. I'm really grateful to be here. And now, when look, now my mom doesn't say he's just a YouTuber. Now she's like, well, he's meeting with Alex Karp and Alyssa. She gets to go on her soliloquy of all the things that she's proud of. And I don't know, dude. My mom had a rough life. She had a rough life growing up. her marriage was not the easiest in the early days for herself and my father. They had an arranged marriage, so things happen. Like, it's not always the easiest relationship when you get arranged. And so there were, I grew up with a bunch of different issues in their relationship and their marriage, but they got through it and they worked hard on it. And in the midst of seeing that, I just wanted to make them happy when I grew up, because they weren't necessarily the happiest when I was growing up. And I think their definition of happy was, hey, if he's happy, we're happy. And I'm happy, dude. I'm really happy. Like, it's hard to, like, I'm so happy to do this every single day. I'm just so happy. It kind of feels insane to even say I'm happy, because how many times do you just like tell yourself I'm happy? Like, no, I'm happy in life. I'm very, very happy. And you guys, contribute so deeply to that happiness for me to be here and get to do this. So I said this in Miami, but I will say it again. Thank you for you guys, because you made my dreams come true. At the same time, Josh says your Wi-Fi is on. Trying to have an emotional moment, and Josh, you're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2. One was you take a shit when you look in the mirror. The other one is your Wi-Fi is unhappy. Literally 2 for 2. Can't be emotional for too long on this channel, because you'll get humbled real quick. But no, you guys made my dreams come true. You guys made my dreams come true. It is very rare in life to have dreams, to work hard, to execute on them. A lot of people work hard, a lot of people execute, and they don't see the dreams actually come true. I can say my dreams have come true. Being here every single day, being able to perform in front of an audience about the things that I want to talk about with my own flair, my own twist, and have those people deeply care about this is a dream. And it's not the exact manifestation of the dream that I thought I would be like singing in front of 50,000 people. I think for the sake of humanity, it's good that didn't happen. Me singing in front of 50,000 people, probably like that was God saying, hey, let's like not make that happen. But the other version of this dream, me singing about stocks in front of all you guys and building a community together, that's it's very special. It's very, 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 very special. And I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, my ears can only take so much. Yeah, now I yap. Now I yap instead. There it is. There it is, folks. That's what we got. That's what we got. That's my speech. I appreciate it. SoFi right there, back below 29. Nvidia 175. Tesla 423. A little bit of red candles across the board. Nothing too crazy. Again, we got Quadwitching. So in a couple hours, we'll see how the markets kind of really react as these options either get exercised or they get in the money, out of the money. But yeah, guys, I don't know what else to say other than it is the journey of a lifetime. It is the journey of a lifetime. And we only have one life, right? We only got one freaking life. So to take on that journey in this way, it just means a lot, dude. And even last night was surreal. Just like meeting 2 people that I never met before because they, care about Hood, and just their energy. Brittany and Eddie were so awesome, and just coming back to this new apartment, they came. So again, I haven't showed the view, but as soon as they stepped in and they saw the view, they were like, "What?" I'm not sharing the view because I do want to keep some parts of my life private, but it's just one of those things where I came back last night at like 12 a.m. and I'm just like looking at the view of this apartment, and I'm like, "Fuck, dude!" Like, there's a lot of work went into just being able to look at this view and being able to wake up to it every day. Like, just so much fucking work went into getting to this moment. But none of it felt like work. It just felt like the process and the grind of making this happen. You like it's the whole suffering conversation, right? Like, if you want that beautiful view that you wake up to every day, you got to go through hell. You got to go through some really shitty views for many years to even have a chance of thinking you can get there. And remember that view can be taken away from you if you're not continuously embracing the suffering of trying to build and the obstacles that come with that. But in the midst of all that suffering, you do get these moments, and these moments like 100K are very, 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 very special. Really, really special. I'm not going to cry. Not going to cry. definitely have been emotional over the past couple of weeks though on the show. Like Miami, that was really emotional, dude. Just seeing that many people, like it was, I don't know, dude. It was a different world. It was a different world. Say, thanks for the $20 super chat. It's been 3 long years and I've not missed your stream. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being here. Captain Chuck, I'm a fireman in Miami. I missed that meetup that came to know you through Tom Nash. I have 7,000 pounds at 824. I can retire soon, hopefully. Captain, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service as well. Thank you for the super chat. Emilio, thank you for the $20 super chat. Dense, thank you for the $20 super chat. Congrats on 100K. Never thought I could be on my way to becoming a millionaire, but you made it possible. The cost of living in Singapore is insane, but the gains have given me even more assurances on my future. Thank you. That's one thing. You guys don't have any capital gains tax, but you guys have a very high cost of living. So being able to compound your capital is very important. And I appreciate you, Dense, for being part of the channel. Wardhog, thank you for the $20. I'm 80 years old today. I began with 80 grand 4 years ago, 1.2 million today. Those are the stories that are the most rewarding. So you were 76 with 80 grand. 4 years later, you are the age of what your net worth was 4 years ago, but now it has 25x. I mean, absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for being here. And it's the beauty of the markets. It's the beauty of taking a chance and allocating capital. Lee, thank you for the $50 super chat. I was in Miami, so great to meet you. Appreciate your humbleness, but the sub numbers matter. It shows how many people you are reaching and the impacts that lives are changing. Everyone should contribute given to how much value you bring. Thank you. Yeah, the numbers definitely do matter as a metric to track like the impact of your content, right? Like you don't want to be the person who writes a book and no one ever reads the book. So you got to sell the book. You got to know that people actually are reading your book. And so the numbers for me that matter are obviously like the number of people that are live every day and the number of people that subscribe. It's just more important to me is the impact that like actually talking with those people on Twitter, responding to your DMs, listening to your comments, trying to take the constructive feedback. Like that stuff's really important. And it's always been more important than the number itself. Because if you can't take care of 40 subscribers, what makes you think you can take care of 40,000 subscribers? What makes you think you can tailor to that audience and give them what they desire? So the number going up to me is a byproduct of just really hoping or really paying attention to the needs of your audience. And if more people like it, then the number should go up over time. And that's kind of how the growth should occur. Thank you, Lee. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the super chat. Pouncer 183 while we're talking. There you go. I mean, shout out to Citron. These guys got to tweet an update one day. We got to know what's going on with that short report. But we got 183 on Pouncer. FF, thank you for the $50 super chat. Thank you, Amit, for being a role model to people of all ages. You've shaped me into a better investor, but more importantly, into a better person and father these past 3 years. We all love you. Thank you, FF, for that. I also want to be a father one day. I want to have kids. I want to have 3 kids. I want to have 2 girls and a boy. So I'm excited one day to have, and yes, I know I need to be with a woman to have kids. Yes, I understand. It's not that easy to do it with another guy. I get it. I understand. But yeah, I do want to be a father one day, and hopefully I can be a good father to my kids. And when I do have kids, it's not an if for me, it's a when. I really do want to start a family. I think I personally would feel like life would be incomplete without a family. Other people feel differently, and that's totally fine. But I really do want kids. I want to raise them with the same mentality of just like be a good person. Just be a good person. And if you can be a good person, and if you can, Brittany and Eddie, we were talking about the story last night. Like some of you guys remember it, and some of you guys made a joke out of it, which I'll reference in a second. But when I went to Iliano to the Palantir DC office, and I had that Scarface jacket on, and I met the homeless guy who wanted some water, and I bought him some water from Walgreens. And then he ends up saying, "Hey, Scarface is my favorite movie." Look, I watched Scarface for the first time like 5 months ago. I don't even fucking I don't care about Scarface. But you have this homeless man who it's cold in DC. He wanted some water, and he was obviously an older gen. He just had to be like 65 or something. In the 80s, he was probably in his 20s and 30s, and Scarface was his favorite movie. And so I gave him the jacket. I took off the Scarface jacket, and it was his, because A, it'll hopefully keep him a little warm, but B, getting to walk around in a jacket that gives you the nostalgia of when you were 20 and 30 matters way more than me wearing the jacket because I bought it at some store thinking that I could prove to people that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to movies. Now, you guys interpreted that story as I got robbed and mugged, which I will neither confirm nor deny. But my interpretation of the story, is I was raised with the mentality that you take off that fucking jacket and you give it to someone who actually needs it. You give it to someone who actually needs it. Doesn't matter if you paid $150 for that jacket. You don't need that jacket. Your portfolio moves up thousands of dollars up or down in a day. That person has nothing to their name. They care about Scarface. You take off that jacket. And that's how I want to raise my kids. You take it off. You don't need that jacket as much as the other person. You just don't. And if you think you do, then you're probably not counting enough for your blessings. Because ironically, the way the world works is you give that person your jacket unconditionally without expectations, things come back to you in life. They really do. And I just I really believe in that. It's too many times I've seen me being unselfish, not with the expectation of getting anything, just for the pure, hey, you deserve this more than me. And your blessings compound. And this is, Derek's entire, and part of the reason I've started to accelerate being like this is because of Derek. Derek had no reason to mentor me as some random kid on the internet. He had no reason to get me into a startup that has gone up 2,000% in less than a year, which has completely changed even my perspective on investing and private startups and the ability to network and get more deals. And he had no reason to do that, but he's had a very blessed life. He's been very successful and he wanted to give back. And I hope to do that for someone one day. And I definitely hope to raise my kids with that mentality that they need to do that. So yeah, I hope to have kids one day and I hope to raise them the right way. Up North, thank you for the $20 super chat. Congrats on the 100K. It's a significant milestone in your life journey. I'm currently watching from my off-grid camp 100 miles south of Arctic Circle via Starlink. Appreciate your insight and shout out to the chat. Dude, shout out to Elon freaking Musk, baby. That is crazy. 100 miles south of the Arctic Circle via Starlink. It's near the North Pole. Goodness gracious, dude. That's incredible. Congratulations, man. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for being here. And shout out to Starlink. Because that's been pretty incredible. K. Roger, thank you for the super chat. You're my quant, and you've always been the best guests. Arnie, Amir, Jason, Jose, and Sam. Thank you to yourself and the FinTwit crew. K. Roger, thank you. I know you've been here for a couple years. So thank you for watching the content. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the super chat. And I'm happy I called you K. Roger instead of K. Roger because I definitely said Roger to someone a couple days ago and got made fun of. So thank you for being here. Somia, thank you for the $10. Without you in the community, I wouldn't have invested in some of the stocks I have like Oklo and Hood. Congratulations, especially on Oklo. I mean, that bad boy has absolutely taken off. Thank you for the super chat. Robinhood right here at 123. Oklo still at 124. So Oklo holding on to its momentum. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Just here to say thank you. You are a true inspiration. Dan, thank you for being here and giving me the ability to do what I do every day. It truly means the world. Missy, thank you for the $14. I love your authenticity. Helen, thank you for the $20. Congratulations. I enjoy your presence every day. Thank you, Helen, for being here and giving me the privilege to be in this situation. Savage Altruist, thank you for the $10. Your authenticity and enthusiasm are world-class. It's a privilege to be part of the community you've created. The super chat spell check is crazy. Yeah, Google can be uptight with that. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being part every single day in this community. Yeah, we did do Bloomberg this week, or not this week, this year. There's been a bunch of different milestones this year that have been kind of wild. Bloomberg was literally in February, right? Or March. It was, it feels like it was so long ago, but that was the first time like a retail Palantir investor got on Bloomberg. Even that moment, dude, but even that moment, so many of you guys were so excited and just like genuinely happy for me. And it's one of those things where it's like these life milestones and having other people be like authentically happy and genuinely proud. Like it's not easy to develop a community where people care that much and they just want to see you win. It's kind of like, going back to music, like if my favorite artist comes out with a good album, I'm happy. Like I want to see that artist succeed. I want to see them put out good music. I want to defend their music against people that say their music sucks. Like I care about that artist. And same thing with Vlad or Carp, right? Like I want them to have a good quarter, A, because obviously it helps us all financially, but B is because like I believe in those people as human beings. Forget even entrepreneur. I believe in Vlad and Carp as human beings with a dream and a mission, and I want them to execute, and I want to be happy for their execution. So I'm not Vlad or Carp. I'm not building some massive public company, but for what I am building, the fact that people want to see me happy and want to see me succeed, it really means a lot. It really, 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 really means the world. Dave, thank you for the $100 super chat. Congrats on reaching 100K. You continue to do amazing work and change so many lives. I was lucky to find you in the rest of the Pounder community back in 2022. Can't thank you enough. Hope you'll find a medium well steak on us. Best on your journey to 200K. I think we got to do medium well tonight. I think we got to do medium well tonight. Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it so much. Sanjeev, thank you for the $20. Thank you, Amit. I invested in Hood because of you and learned few key lessons about investing. We're also addicted to your show in this chat. I hope this show goes on forever. Yeah, I can't imagine not doing this every day. So I don't know if it's going to go on forever, but I'm just very blessed to be here. At 28, or I'll be 28 in a month. Could I see myself doing this at 38? Yeah, I could. And I just like the fact that I could see that actually happening, and the fact that I would want to do it because I enjoy it so much. It means a lot. It really, really, really does mean a lot. CDK, thank you for the $5. Love your streams. Days when you're not on is like the weekends when the markets are closed. Well, thankfully, we got no more traveling for a while. So we'll be able to do it every single day. In terms of an update on the Trump call, I don't see any updates yet. We talked about, oh no, we did have the update. They talked about, Trump actually tweeted. Here we go. Call was a good one. Okay, so Trump said the call was good. We got the update that he was working with Xi on figuring out TikTok. Oh, here's the actual tweet. All right, here's the tweet. I just completed a very productive call with Xi. We made progress on many very important issues, including trade, fentanyl, the need to bring the war between Russia and Ukraine to an end, and the approval of TikTok. I also agreed with President Xi that we would meet, at the APEC summit in South Korea, that I would go to China in the early part of next year. That's a big deal. And then President Xi would likewise come to the United States. The call was a very good one. We will be speaking approval. We will speaking again by phone. Appreciate the TikTok approval and look forward to meeting everyone at APEC. Okay, not bad. Trump and Xi are going to meet in China and the US. That's always good when world leaders go to each other's countries. It's very important to normalize those relations. He didn't say anything about Nvidia, but at least we've got them going together. So not too bad. Not too bad. Hopefully this continues to help us out throughout the rest of the day. Paul, thank you for the $10 super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for what you do, Amit. Paul, I appreciate you. Thank you for being at the meetup. You and your wife were amazing. I loved meeting you and Shilpa. And I'm just so happy I got to meet some of you guys in person, and so happy you were there. Benny, thanks for the super chat. If you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. The grind paid off. Congrats, mate. You've changed more lives than you can imagine. Benny, I know you've been here for almost 3-4 years now. So appreciate you, man. Appreciate you all the way from the UK, and hopefully we make our way to the UK soon. Christian, thanks for the $10. Waiting for the Grab album to go platinum so far. I have 600 contracts that are printing. Super grateful and have come across your channel. May God continue to bless you. Thank you, Christian. And for Grab, again, I've been thinking about it this whole week, given Grab has made a move. It's like, I don't know if it's going to be what we think it's going to be, but I cannot tell you how special it is to publicly put out the thesis and then to just potentially see it come through. Like, it is a dopamine it is a high that is very hard to achieve. I've been through it twice with Palantir and Hood, so I know how hard it is to get there, even though Palantir and Hood looked like they were easy. And so with Grab, I don't know if it's the third, but it's really special. And the fact that a lot more people are on this journey than Palantir and Hood, It's very, very humbling, especially because the stock's been dead all year. But it's also very gratifying if the company can execute and the thesis can play true, and then the stock goes up and people make money and like that whole thing. I think that's what Buffett's done his whole life. That's what Ackman's done his whole life. Druckenmiller's done his whole life, and they have their losses, and I will have my losses. But if I ever even think of being in that upper echelon of like all-time investors, you got to start with these early wins in your career, and you've got to be able to call them out and land some big ones. And hopefully if you take other people on the journey, it catapults you to higher levels and to again, keep doing it at a higher level. So I don't know if Grab's going to be the one, but that's what you do, right? You take the risk. You say, all right, screw it. Here it is. Here's my thoughts. Here's my thesis. It either works or it doesn't. And you deal with the pain or the glory, but it really just gets you to be even more serious about your investments, because now a lot of people are listening and you really don't want to put something out that you don't have. That's why I couldn't get into Open Door, right? I just didn't have the faith. I couldn't understand it. I was like, I'm not going to even try with that one, because you take it so seriously now when you know, A, how many people are listening, but B, how much work goes into analyzing a company. It's not easy. And so it's very, very, very special to see this one potentially play through and keep that momentum going. Mike, thanks for the super chat. You were the first person I found when talking about Palantir at 12. Thanks to this community, I was able to buy a nice engagement ring and have fun and fund my wedding. Wow. Congratulations, dude. Congratulations. Palantir right here, back to 183 as you're speaking about Palantir, getting you the funds to get engaged. That's incredible. The fact that a stock you're buying 2 years ago is the reason you're able to get an engagement ring for your wife. I mean, it's just amazing. It's very, very, very special. Rockflow, thank you for the $10. Can't thank you enough, Amit. If it wasn't for you, I would have panicked out a long time ago. I listened to you every day at work, and I've learned so much. Big love from Sweden. Shout out to Sweden. We had Kat from Sweden at the Miami meetup. It was so cool to see people internationally travel and meet everybody and just get to react. And yeah, hopefully we get a meetup in Sweden eventually one day. Joe Man, thanks for the $5. Thanks, Amit. Me and my son love your show. He gets so excited when I pick him up from school, and he waits to hear a closing bell. Congrats on 100K. That stuff is surreal to me. Honestly, that is surreal. That you have your kids in the car and they know that the bell is going to ring at 4 p.m. Like that is, I don't know what to say. Like that's just, it really makes me want to work on my humor to make sure that for the young, hip crowd, the humor is relevant. So it definitely keeps me on my toes. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for having you and your son be part of the show. Palantir right here, 183.30. Nebius is at 96.90. That's up 3%. S&P 661, Tesla 423, Nvidia 176, Hoodie 123. Grab trying to make a run at 645 again, and then Google right here 240. So if I couldn't break over 29.60, we still got a few hours left in the day, so we'll see if it does. But SoFi right there at 29. And you got the S&P at 661. My kids leave the room when I put you on. So you got some kids that are ready for the bell, other kids that are like, dude, I don't care about hearing this guy's jokes. Kevin, thanks for the super chat. Hey, mate, congrats on the 100K. Yeah, thank you for being at the New York City meetup, dude. We got to do the New York City meetup again. Appreciate you being there, man. And your camera was awesome, bro. Your camera was like a legit camera. Like getting a professional photographer at the meetups is at Miami showed me how important it was. So I was happy you were there. I was happy you got to capture some of the moments of it. And when we do New York meetup again, you definitely got to be out there, Kevin. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being part of the channel. I know I said I was leaving, but I really don't want to miss all these super chats. I'm just so grateful that you guys are you guys have been on this journey and you're sending them here today. So thank you again. If I missed your super chat, I'm really sorry. There's just a lot of them. But I think we got to all of them. Daniel, thanks for the $5. Been watching you when you just made Palantir videos and invested at $10, and without a doubt, live streaming was your best decision that you ever made. Yeah, I think live streaming was an inevitable conclusion because, like, I think the personality that I have is very like, yes, let's live breaking news, what's going on, like, raw reactions. And, some people are meant to just like upload videos. Other people are meant to like really hold an audience live. And I'm very grateful that I was able to do it live, and we're able to do it live every day. Ben says, don't miss this one. Read it very slowly. Ben, thank you for being here. Uzi, thanks for the $10 super chat. As an immigrant from Pakistan, thanks for getting me hooked onto the world of capital markets. It was great meeting you in Miami. Would love to meet up in Jersey City. Thank you, Uzi, for being here. Thank you for the $10. And yeah, it was awesome meeting you in Miami, dude. It was awesome meeting you in Miami. There's a lot of immigrant stories. I was born in America, but my parents were born in India. And for all the immigrants that came from India, Pakistan, wherever you came from, the equity markets are first of all, just like surviving in America is a hard thing to do if you're an immigrant, especially if you're first generation. Then thinking you can compound your capital in the stock market. I mean, my parents have been here for 50 years or for 40 years, and they never heard about the stock market. They heard about it over the past 3 years because I got into it. So it's like, it takes sometimes the second generation to really begin the process of financial literacy in a family. And I know so many people can relate to that. So many people are probably the first generation to do that. And someone's got to start, right? Someone's got to start. If you don't come from daddy's money, who worked at a major executive at some big tech company, and his father owned a private equity firm, if you don't come from that shit, which I did not come from, and I know a lot of people in the chat did not come from, then you got to do it yourself. You got to figure this shit out yourself. And it's a hard journey. It's a journey where you feel like, why me? Woe is me. The world's against me. The system's against me. I don't have it as good as this person who lives in Beverly Hills, California. The other mentality is like, screw that. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure this shit out. No one's going to stop me. No one's going to get in my way. I'm going to make this shit happen through hell or high water. I don't care what obstacles exist. I'm going to fucking do it. And I think a lot of us are in that phase of life where it's like, we're just going to do it. And the stock market is one of the ways that we're trying to do it. And there you go. There you go. JJ, thank you for the super chat. Congrats on 100K mid. I remember stumbling across this community randomly a few years ago and was hooked ever since. JJ, thank you for being here over the past couple of years. Okay, I got to end this because otherwise you guys are going to keep sending so many super chats, and I'm going to be here for like 3 hours reading these super chats. And I really appreciate even the sending of $100, $50. I don't want your money. I've never wanted your money. I've never wanted to siphon money. I've wanted the impact. I've wanted the journey. I've wanted the creative process. And I've got it. And now I just don't want to let it go. Now I just don't want to let it go. So, yeah, it really means a lot. It really, 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 really means a lot. Sue Kumar, thank you for the $50 super chat. In 40s, I became a millionaire after following you from Liberation Day. Liberation Day really, really changed a lot of lives. See, now you guys are sending like 7 super chats, and I can't leave. K. Roger, again, thank you for the $20. Please keep yapping. Eric, thanks for the $5. Just wanted to let you a few more seconds, but honestly, I appreciate everything you do. Congrats on the 100K. YouTube user, your business model is like Palantir. Provide value, and the money will come a much better and authentic way to engage your viewers. Yeah, I kind of recognized that a year ago. That like the way I'm building AK Media is like Palantir. You just give. Eventually you'll get. You don't expect to get, but the more you give, the better you have a chance of winning. And so, like genuinely, dude, I know it's cliche to say I'm not doing it for the money, but I'm really not. Like I was telling Ed and Brittany this, is the money important? Is like having income yes, all that stuff matters and it deeply matters. But I was doing this when there was no money. Like I didn't do this. I didn't monetize for years. So now that there's more money, it's like now I'm happy. Like, Ileana was, if I had a logo of some company in the bottom of right-hand corner of the screen, dude, we get, we're closing in on 9,000 people every morning that are watching. They would pay like 50 grand a month to have that logo just there every single day, twice a day. They would, there would be companies that pay, especially if it's a financial company, they would pay $100,000 a month to just have their logo right there in front of that many people. But that's not me. That's not what I do. That's not how I roll. And so really, this is not for the money. If it was for the money, there would be easier ways to monetize way quicker. It is for the joy and passion of doing this. And where does that lead to? I have no clue, but I do know that I love doing it, and eventually it will lead to something bigger than myself. Who knows what that is? But the joy of doing it every single day is the reason why I'm doing it. Alaman, thank you for the super chat. Amit, why don't you ever say love you when ending the calls with Steve, Chris, or Jose? Y'all are family. If I said love you to Steve, it would be hard for him to respond. In fact, let's call him right now. Let's see.
I'm just about to order Patsy's. Call me back in 1
Wait, Steve, one thing, real quick. You there?
Yeah, I was about to hit call on Patsy's. What's up?
Okay, I just want to say, I really appreciate you as a friend, and I love you.
I love you too, Matt.
You were supposed to be the mafia boss that doesn't say we're live. I thought you were gonna be like the guy who's like, get the fuck out of here or something. But you changed, bro. You're soft.
Yeah, you wouldn't say that if you were in front of me.
All right, go order your Patsy's. Dude, you really said you love me, bro? You're freaking soft.
Yeah, you're a
as
good
hell.
role model.
All right, later. I'll talk to you on the close. Bye.
All right, later.
Dude, there was supposed to be an awkward pause for like 30 seconds. Do you guys remember when he was on the stream? I think this was like 5 months ago, and I don't know how it came up, but I was like, yeah, Steve, love you, man. And like, there was nothing. And I was just like, love you, man. And he was like, cool. I thought that's what was going to happen again. You know what happened, bro? I think this guy wants to order his Patsy's so quickly because he's so freaking hungry. He just said, let me just say something so I can get off the phone. Pouncer, 184, baby. Back to 184. All-time high is 190, guys. So, I mean, this is literally the price where Citron shorted. If I'm not wrong, maybe they shorted at 185, but this is basically the price that they shorted at. So we're back here. Chris says, I remember that. Yeah, you guys remember this was a market close back in, I think, April or May. And I thought the same thing would happen, but this guy ruined the skit, bro. Freaking ruined the skit. He was supposed to feel awkward. Just ended up saying, I love you. That's how you know Steve's getting soft. It's good, though. It's good. We're getting the emotion out of him. Richard, thanks for the super chat. Thank you, man. I made a fortune and now learning options. You are great. From Istanbul. Thank you, Richard, for being here. From Istanbul. Means a lot. And Ed, thanks for the super chat. I'm looking forward to your weekly stock deep dive research. Congrats and thank you. Yeah, I think it'll be 2 a month. It'll be 2 a month. Weekly is a bit too aggressive. It'll be 2 a month. I'm going to write it out. I want to force myself to legit write. It'll force me to go through the financials, the story, the narrative, all that stuff. And one thing I will say that I've been searching for, just to be quite frankly, like really honest, is I want another challenge. Like I want another big challenge in my life. And I think the past 5 years, the challenge was, hey, can you scale a portfolio from like 50K when I started? B, can you build a brand? And then C, can you scale that brand? And all three of those things over the past 5 years have started to really get to a point where, I can say those things have happened. And I want to keep making them happen. And I do not want to get complacent, but I also want different challenges. And, you start thinking about all the different things you can do and different ideas and thought. And I'm not talking about like, start a private Discord and get 10,000 people to pay $5 a month type of challenge. I'm talking about like real challenge. Like how can you, in the world of finance, what can you do that not the traditional average financial YouTuber is doing and like be successful at it and go on a journey, again, pushing that rock up the mountain that forces you to figure out how the fuck you can go through all the challenges of it, but eventually get to that mountaintop. I mean, the public portfolio, I think that's a big challenge as well. I mean, that'll be a fun one for all of us. I will not launch a meme coin. That would be quite the challenge. I don't think that would work out. Launch retail con. Yeah, I mean, look, the meetups have been a challenge all year and those have worked out well. I am thinking of more live events like, not All In Summit, but if we were to have an event with 1,000 people in a stadium and you have a bunch of speakers and like, maybe it costs $50 to get into the event. And like, I think that would be a really cool way to do it and like make it special. And I don't even think that would be a moneymaker. There's not a lot of money in live events. A lot of that $50 would cover all the expenses. But like that would be another way to expand the meetups from not just like people sitting together in a bar and drinking, but rather like having like actual speakers. And like, what if you get, you know, really important people to come through to that event, that retail con, whatever, like all these different ideas I'm thinking about. And we got to try doing it cheaper. So like the Substack, that is also like a big deal because I don't write. I hate writing, bro. I write on Twitter all day, but I hate actually sitting down and writing stuff. Like I'm not a writer, I'm a talker. So if I were to force myself to write about a company, A, I think it would make me a better investor because it would really force me to dive deep. And then B, I think it would be valuable content. And then C, it would be like, hey, how big can we make that Substack? Not from a monetary perspective, but could we get 100,000 subscribers on that Substack one day, right? Like that's another challenge to embrace. So I think one of the ways to not be complacent is just to constantly find a challenge that's bigger than yourself and keep going. Tess says, "Oh, we know you're a talker." That is fair. Next challenge, 24-hour stream. Yes, we got to do that as well. Why not a fireside deep dive of a company instead of writing? Answer our questions too. Yeah, well, that's the idea. The idea is once you do a deep dive in article format, then you do a video of it. And part of the reason we haven't been doing the deep dives anymore is because like I haven't found the people in the community of that stock to do a deep dive for. So like TSM, if I can do a deep dive on TSM for 2 weeks and then I can find 2 or 3 people to talk about it with me, and then I can actually intelligently talk about TSM, because if I have not done the deep dive, then how the hell am I going to talk about it? Then you can actually make the video content version of it. So if you don't want to read it, you can listen to it, right? So I think that's kind of the idea around these deep dives. A challenge like having 6 kids. Okay, 6 kids is a bit aggressive. That's a decent amount. But I would like to have 3 kids. Kwong, thank you for the super chat. Love your content. Congrats on the 100K. Amid been subbing or been following for just 2 months, but hooked ever since. Tell you the truth, it feels empty without your live session from Stockholm, Sweden. Means a lot. I mean, whenever anyone says I feel like my day is ruined when you don't go live, I mean, that's very, 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 very humbling for me. And it forces me to want to be even better at these streams, be more consistent, and continue to give as much value as I can. So thank you, Kwong, all the way from Sweden. Thank you for being here. And Colin Mellon, thank you for the $10 super chat as well. Okay, that's it. I gotta go. We are gonna be here for the next like 3-4 hours if I don't go. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you, everybody. It means a lot. I'm sorry the last hour kind of turned into this. I didn't really know how we would celebrate or talk about 100K, but at least it happened on a Friday when the market was basically flat after the first 2 hours of the open. We got a few hours left. I'll be back on the close. We'll get Steve on the close. We'll see his thoughts. He put out a new article today as well on his newsletter. So I'll link that right here, and we'll talk more about his article into the close. There's his tweet right there. And we'll be back. We'll be back in a few hours. Again, from the bottom of my heart, if I have not said it in a way that is important enough for everyone to understand, because I really do care about everyone understanding this. You guys do not have to be here. You do not have to spend your mornings with me, your afternoons. You do not have to let me into your homes. You do not have to deal with my quirky nonsense, but you do. And the fact that you do, I cannot say how grateful I feel about that, because words don't put that into any sentiment that I could actually meaningfully describe. I think the only words that come close to hopefully getting people to realize that is that you guys made my dreams come true. You guys really made my dreams come true. And I a lot of people go their whole life without having the ability for those dreams to become real. And it is only because of you guys that those dreams are true. And I do not take that for granted. I do not take that for granted. Thank you, everybody. Means the world. Word of the day, lagom.
Lagom.
What? That was wild. That was wild. That was a bit ridiculous. Why is he saying it like that?
Lagom.
Dude, that guy sounds like he's choking on something, bro. Lagom, the principle of living a balanced, moderate, and simple life. My life has not been lagom over the past 5 years. Nothing has been balanced or moderate or simple about it. But that's because of you guys. You guys have made this an exciting, exhilarating, important life to live every single day. and I have loved every single second of it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for 100,000 subscribers. It means the world to me. I'm here in service of you, and the fact that you guys choose to be here every day, it is the reason for me and the reason why I'm here. And thank you for being here every single day. Thank you, everybody. It means the world. I'll see you guys on the market close. Bye, everybody.